Hey man, say man, this is Ed and Dez,
This is Diz and Ed.
and we're a podcast from around the way, man. Don't play, and we're gonna get right into it today. You know what I'm saying? This is the 2nd of July, so we're gonna fry it up, gonna get the cooking. First topic of the day, man. Get straight into it. We want to talk about the thoughts on the Memphis Tigers recruiting so far, the basketball recruiting this off season. You know what I'm saying? What Penny doing has just been, you know, boy, Penny done had us in for one, and he always come out strong, baby. One thing about Penny, man, he a real North Memphis vet. You can put him in the jungle, butt naked, man. He gonna come out with a fur coat dancing, you dig? I love it about Penny, man. Shout out to you, bro. And I wanted to go and jump straight into that situation right away, man. So what you think about it so far, what we got going on?
Um, I saw Kentucky got the guy, right? They got a big guy coming in, and he is not who they wanted. They wanted the guy Penny got, Jordan.
Right.
From Louisiana.
Jordan Brown.
Yeah, Jordan Brown. So Penny got basically a 19-9 guy, so almost 20-10. And in college, since you don't play as many minutes, might as well be 20-10. The guy's effective, man. He basically, you substitute for what Kendrick Davis gave you last year as the go-to player. You just substitute that with this guy, except he's on the interior, and he averages like almost 60% clip shooting, field goal percentage wise. He got a mid-range jump shot, plays above average defense at a college level, got an above average IQ, and he got court vision. So he know how to pass out of the double team. The guy's something to be dealt with. So, from that standpoint, they got probably one of the top 5 transfer players, as one of the top 5 big men transfer players. They got him. And offensively, he might be the best transfer big in college. And I don't necessarily think it's close because I don't think the rest of them guys averaging close to 20 points. So
only probably him and Hunter Dickinson. That's probably the only other guy. And truth be told, I'd rather have Jordan Brown than Hunter Dickinson. So even there, I can't disagree with you on it. Like what Jordan Brown gonna bring to the table. This is gonna definitely be the best big man probably that Penny's ever had. You can say James Wiseman, but he only played 3 games, and so and it was a COVID year, so they didn't even nobody got to finish that season out. So I would definitely say that definitely this the best big man so far. Player comps, he reminds me a lot of Greg Monroe because he's a retro post scorer, so he's gonna get it in. He knows what he's doing inside the elbow. Very efficient man. Even when he played against SMU and SMU, I think Alabama or somebody, another Power 5 school, he still put up big numbers. I think against SMU, he put up like 22-7 or something like that, 22-11. And then against the other Power 5 school this past season, it was like 14-7 or 16-7. So he didn't disappear when the competition was greater. So that's another good thing about him. His game translates no matter who he's playing against. And he's coming in as a 6-year vet, to say the least, at 6 years in. As far as the rest of the squad, right now they're looking at Javon Quinterly from Alabama. He averaged like 8.5 points and like four assists, 4.5, something like that a game. Or that might run about 3.5, 4 assists a game. Shot about 36% last season, but the season I think before that he shot 41, 42%. These are from 3-point percentages, excuse me. So this is a guy that's a knockdown shooter, especially if you leave him open, he will knock the shot down. That's the good thing about him. Catch and shoot, he's highly efficient. And I think he came from the Jelly Roll fam from back in the day. If y'all remember them cats coming in the recruiting circuit a few years ago. Highly skilled player, had some injuries, so the defense won't be there necessarily. Hopefully, with Penny, one thing about Penny, he's an elite defensive coach. He's to me, he's going to eventually become an elite coach, period. And he's already becoming that. But already he's established that he's probably the best defensive coach in the country. No matter what the team is, Penny's been able to provide a scheme that'll keep his teams in that top 30, top 40 defense discussion throughout the season. So Quinterly will probably be fine. They haven't gotten Quinterly yet, but people are already making crystal ball predictions that he's going to be there. If he does, then that pretty much signals the end for Mikey Williams. I'm not gonna lie, me personally, I'm caught up on the hoopla. I'm just keeping 100, so I'm deep down inside. I'm still hoping Mikey Williams gonna show up, and it'll work out. But for some reason, I get where Penny coming from too. You can't just gamble with it, especially with the court dates being pushed back and all of that. So definitely want to go ahead and keep moving forward. If you get a chance to, and Mikey, and in a vacuum of things, Mikey is a 4-star prospect. He was a 5, but dropped down to a 4. And I think, honestly, he was a 5-star prospect. I think there was just a lot of politics the way they just stuck him in there. But regardless of the fact, he finished as a 4-star prospect. Quinterly is a former 5-star prospect. Now, Quinterly's probably about 4 or 5 years in, but, you get the point with that. And why sit on waiting on a 4-star prospect when you got a former 5 who already has the experience and their veteran presence coming in? So I get why Penny them doing that. Some more guys that Penny brought in, Jonathan Pierre, of course.
That's one now.
Yeah, man, 6'10", 190, shot 40%. Even though it was in D2, he still shot over 40% from 3.
I think the only thing I worry about with him is physicality, because he said that when he interviewed, the physicality part, the physical part of it, like you can't come in 6'10", 192. Right. That's not feasible. That's just not something that's gonna work with the game he plays.
Thanks.
He gonna, but he knows he got to put on weight, right? I like for players that admit they got to get physically better. Mm-hmm. One thing I like about the kid, he come from winning 67-1 in the last 2 years of his life.
Right. Only lost one game playing in college. It was crazy, bro, so far.
And the kid shot up from 5'11" to 6'10", basically, from sophomore year in high school to sophomore year in college. And he graduated high school a year early. He graduated at 17. So you got to keep that in mind. So this kid then had 2 years of D2 experience, but he's 19.
19, exactly.
So I think the world of the kid. Honestly, to me, this is the best pro prospect on the team. Once you combine age with the fact he has that anomaly that everybody searches for, that late growth spurt.
Size.
That's what people want. That late growth spurt is going to show that you still have guard skill. And that's what took Anthony Davis over the top and several other players lately. Look at CJ McCollum. Everybody joke about he went from 5'2" to 6'3". Like that helps because you had to learn how to navigate the game.
Yeah, you had to compensate for the lack of size.
But now you don't compensate no more. Now you're one of the big dogs. And with that guy, his wingspan is again pterodactyl. I don't know the actual span, but it's pterodactyl.
Right.
And he got court vision. That's why he coming to Memphis. Because somebody got in his ear and said, hey, that's one of the best big guards ever. Probably number 2 behind Magic. We gonna roll with this. Mm-hmm. Behind Magic and Oscar Robertson, no disrespect to Oscar Robertson, but behind those 2 greats, he's probably the best big guard, and he can teach the kid, and the kid is extremely humble. Right. When you hear him talk,
he came in the spaces with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked to him in the spaces. Actually, I got to ask him some questions. Shout out to Ball Noah Will. Shout out to Hitman Hoops. Man, shout out to y'all. Y'all was able to put that together. Where they had a spaces here a couple months ago when he first announced his commitment. He showed up. Jonathan Pierre showed up to the spaces, man. Man, a grown man already developing. Man, I got the utmost respect for that kid, man. Young man, respectful, able to articulate his answers, thought out. You couldn't say enough about him. And like you said, what I like about what you said earlier, he acknowledges the areas of improvement. You know what I'm saying? So being able, when somebody is holding themselves accountable and acknowledging what they need to get better at, that makes anybody feel more comfortable about their development going forward. And you can't teach 6'10", especially 6'10" with a touch. And what I like about him as a passer specifically is his post playmaking, bro. Man, when he gets in that post, he reminds me of Magic, actually, with his post playmaking. Like when Magic put that back up issue around that elbow area, around that mid-range area, and create the passes out the post area like that. that's something that Jonathan Pierre did a lot, and that was really in terms of his passing. That was one of his main forms of playmaking was post playmaking. So kudos to him. Still got to improve more as a shot creator. We want to see that. That's something he's going to definitely have to show, and then have to show that he can handle the rock against that D1 competition, the best of the best. So he can get those two things down, Peg, man. Hell, it probably be his only year here. So definitely kudos to Jonathan Pierre, man. And I actually hear that Ball North Will and Hitman Hoops are talking about bringing him back for another Spaces. And that just goes to show the type of mentality this young man has to be able to do media and stuff early. He's already in that realm, bro. How many of these kids are doing media early? He's already grasped that concept at 19 years old. And this is another thing I want to say about him before we get on to the next person in the next assets of the team. With Jonathan Pierre, I noticed something. They had a 4-square picture that the University of Memphis Twitter handle posted of the workouts in the summer. So they just posted various pictures of the workouts. And 3 out of those 4 pictures, you want to know who was in there?
Him, like
Jonathan Pierre, man. Out of 3 of those 4 pictures, I noticed one guy for sure. I kind of might have saw Jaden Hardaway in there, which is very consistent with his work ethic as well. But I could confirm that was him in one of those shots. So I can only say 2 pictures for sure. But I know for sure, you saw the kid with the blonde hair playing this day in 3 out of those 4 shots. And one shot was just a close-up shot, so you really couldn't see if he probably was in that frame, in that scene as well. So the premise of me saying that, man, kudos to him because the work ethic is there. For you to show up as the first-year kid and you show up in most of the pictures that they're showing in their 4 squares, bro, that says a lot about your work ethic and your willingness to be there, bro. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't by coincidence. So kudos to you, bro, going forward. I'm really excited about you in your season. David Jones is another cat.
Out of St. John.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. You already know, Jake. You already know. I like him, man. Man, I mean, everything about his game. Maybe the quickness or the athleticism ain't there, but I'm trying to figure out why is he even still in college? Because to be honest, when you watch David Jones, bro, that's a pro player. He can create his own shot. He will pull up, catch and shoot. What I like about him most, he averaged like 7 rebounds a game in college. And he's averaged like 5 or 6 rebounds a game over the course of his career, if not more than that. I'm pretty sure it was like 4, about 5. He's averaging about 6 rebounds a game over his career or something like that. So, man, anytime you got a guard averaging 6 rebounds a game,
right,
and he's a bucket getter, it's one thing to be a guard to do that. It's another thing to be a bucket getter, period. To have both in one person, a guy that's a bucket. I come to get buckets, but I come to do it. I'm a dog on the court. I'm getting it however, any way possible. So, man, kudos to Penny, man, again, for being able to pull that off, for getting all these guys here to where you ain't even tripping off of whether Mikey show up or not. Like, that's the type of, you know what I'm saying, situation Penny has leveraged himself into. And I got to say kudos to you, bro. You didn't allow one guy to string your situation. You kept it pushing. You built around it and slowly went. We all question you. I ain't going to lie. I was questioning you, Penny, and I apologize. Right now, I'm letting you know. So I'm saying, but for you to go out and do what you did and like a thief in the night, and then what I like about Penny as well, you hired your weakness. Specifically how you did it. It wasn't just you going out and making it happen. Context. You went out and hired your weakness in Rick Stansberry. Last year, Rick Stansberry took one of your players, Emmanuel Acott, off of campus. The first day of school. This man came and stole this kid off campus to Western Kentucky. He didn't do this as no Auburn coach or no Duke or no, you know what I'm saying, no Power 5. This man was representing Western Kentucky and stole Penny's player off of campus. Penny sold Memphis, man. I love you, bro. You ain't even tripping. Instead of you holding a grudge when the opportunity arises, man, you went out and hired that man. Man, that's what bosses do, bro. Salute to you, Penny, because you thinking like a mastermind, bro. We don't have permanent enemies and permanent friends, bro. We got permanent interests. And you showed that when you did that, bro. So kudos to you. And then also with Teofel Leonard, kid from MTSU. That's the pro prospect that right now he's got the highest pro prospect pre-draft rankings. He's the one on the team that was already pretty much given a G League spot. So he was given a spot in the G League, and he pretty much turned it down to come here because he felt like the opportunity was going to allow him to show his game better here versus in the G League. So for him to already have a guy that already really had a pro career locked in, as long as he don't get hurt or crash in some type of way, his pro career has already got a floor to it. At least he definitely got a two-way deal coming. And this kid is coming as well to the city, man. I'm talking. I don't know if you got a chance to check him out yet.
Yeah, he almost averaged 2 steals and 2 blocks a game.
Man,
yeah, he's nice.
Freaky, bro. What's your thoughts on?
You know what? Like on a collegiate level now. I'm just saying on a collegiate level. Flash is a Sean Marion to me. That type of 6'7" guy that can go out there and man the paint and play the perimeter. Not necessarily play the perimeter on offense, because that's not what he's gonna be doing. But you know, being in Memphis, we got a player like that already in Brandon Clark. So we already know what that looks like. This guy's he's a better shooter than a Brandon Clark.
And he can get his own shot better too, just period.
Yeah, he
put the ball on the floor, because that's actually why he came.
He a wild card, man. Right. As a University of Memphis Tiger fan through the years, we seen these high flying guys. We seen Michael Wilson. We seen DJ Stephens.
Rodney Carney.
We seen Rodney Carney. We just saw AO. Like, we always got some leapers, some elite leapers is what Memphis. Every coach that coaches this team is gonna go get somebody that can jump out of a gym. Mm-hmm. At some point during their tenure here. And you know,
and they always seem to want to come here.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get elite athletes, and he's one of them guys. He just happens to camp out in the passing lane. He roasts marshmallows in the passing lane. He parked his RV. He set up camp. If you throw the ball in the passing lane and he can get a running start toward that ball, he going for that highlight dunk. So as far as help side defense, the help side blocks, he's listed as a guard, but he averages like 1.8 blocks. Like, that's crazy. So that means from help side, anytime you shake your man and you got somebody like him out there roaming,
another powerful.
You got to look.
Wow.
You got to look that extra split second, and that's when somebody can take the ball or do whatever. So the guy defensively is probably going to be the best player on the team defensively, easily. I don't even think that's going to be comparable.
Yeah, clearly, by far.
I think depending on who you start him at small forward. If you start 4 people that can score, start him at small forward. And whoever the best team player is to score, go put him on them.
That's another question too I wanted to ask in terms of starting. That was a question that came up. The Ball Noah Will, I think, was talking about who would be a good starting five. Because you got to remember, and I want to get your thoughts on David Young too. Young kind of puts me in the frame of I don't want to say Dylan, but kind of Dylan.
But Young. Who is Young?
I said Young, David Jones.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about Jalen Young.
I'm
mixing the prospects up. Y'all tripping, y'all. David Jones, his shot creating is a little more sharper than Dylan. Ball handling, he's just got a little more athleticism. Just got a better body type to where it allows him to put the ball on the floor more fluid. So I like that about him, man. I want to compare him. He kind of reminds me of Wesley Matthews before the Achilles injury, if you remember Wesley's game. Wesley was not bad, but he's a better shot creator than that too. So I'm trying to think of somebody that's got that build like that.
What was the old boy that used to play for the Mavericks, bro? The one that smoked hella weed. Josh Howard.
Josh Howard.
That's who he reminded me of. When I watched him play, because Josh Howard couldn't really, because Jones.
Stats are very similar.
Yeah, Jones can't really shoot from deep.
Who,
He getting there. He got the form, but it ain't falling.
Well, I think this is the thing too, though. With his shot falling, that may be, so I'm not disagreeing at all. But just one thing that I observed was he was so contested. Like, he was literally the only guy when he would get shots, he was shooting contested. Most of the time, you look at his shots, they were contested. So the defenses knew he had no choice but to shoot, and he had to pull up a lot from deep. If you look at a lot of his 3-point attempts, he was pulling up from deep. Because and when he didn't pull up from deep, he would have to pull up immediately. As soon as he get around that 3-point line, he had to pull up immediately. So that gave me an indication that, clearly, you look at the team. The team was terrible. If you look at the record, it was a terrible team. So basically, he was the only guy on the court. So you ain't gonna shoot. I don't care who you are, bro. Your team is trash. You're not gonna shoot efficiently from deep if you shoot a lot of shots from deep. It's just not gonna happen because everybody know you the guy scoring. Yeah. So that was the only thing about that I observed in terms of David Jones and his inefficiency. That's the one thing I observed.
As far as the starters, that's what you was talking about. Like for me, this gonna sound crazy. People gonna think I'm crazy, but I think Michael Williams come here. I do. So. I think he plays. I don't think them folks out in San Diego are just gonna derail his career like that because he's a native son. If he had to get in trouble somewhere else, I'd say that.
Or even got in trouble before because he's never been in trouble.
My thing is when people with a future get in trouble where they're at, where they're home based for the time being, usually they're not gonna overlook it, but they're gonna look them square in the eyes like, hey, don't do that again.
We'll give you a break.
Yeah,
we'll give you a discount on whatever the situation.
Now, when it happens out of town, it's gonna be in the courtroom.
Because you got to remember, these are the same people. It's the same prosecutor. Not to cut you off. It's going to be the same prosecutor looking for re-election. They're going to remember how you did Mikey. It's going to be the same DA looking for re-election. They're going to remember how you did.
I just don't think, the kid.
Or not appointment. Prosecution is appointment. But as far as DA, those offices, those are kids that, those are offices that you don't want to be the one who ruined the native son, especially a San Diego team, a city that doesn't very often, from my knowledge, produce a lot of pro talent, or at least a lot of hype, a lot of star pro talent. So I don't think they would want to be. You don't want to be the DA that ruined his kid's career, first time offender. And considering the details of it, from my understanding, what's being said is somebody pulled up. He didn't know them. They were talking about. They were insisting on having a tour of his house. He told them to leave. They wouldn't leave. When they finally did act like they were gonna pull off, they stopped. From my understanding, he didn't know whether they were gonna shoot or not, so he shot at them, allegedly. So
nobody got hurt, so that's my thing. I'm like, he probably gonna get off just because of that. But with the starting lineup, okay, Quinterly has played 6-man before in the SEC, so 6-man ain't gonna bother dude. Honestly,
do you think? If this thing, if they get, I think we're clear. From my understanding, it's Mikey or Quinterly. It won't be both.
So that's probably why Quinterly holding out. It's probably why, because he don't. Penny like, hey man.
I think if Quinterly gonna commit though now, I think Penny will go ahead and cancel.
Well, yeah, because in college spots do be like that. Because Cal gave the choice. Chris Douglas Robertson, the guy that went to Mississippi State, Jamon Gordon. He said the scholarship is for one of y'all. Which one of y'all want it? CDR took it first. Rest is history.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with that. As far as Caleb Mills, look, dude can't shoot. I'm gonna be honest. Be 100. He got a push shot.
Nah, you right. The form ain't there, but he had some efficient seasons though. He had some
inefficient seasons. Less than 25%.
But you gotta keep this in mind too. Again, that's similar to David Jones. A lot of these kids are coming from bad teams.
Yeah, Florida State was a bad team, but they didn't have a bad roster. So what that tell me is he couldn't help make that go.
I don't even know.
Now with Jones, I can give you that. Florida State, dude can recruit, and he had people there.
I don't know.
They just didn't work with.
I don't remember. I don't know. I can't say I can't disagree with them because I can't. But I know as he's also struggled with his handling in these summer workouts. From what I'm hearing, that's the reason why they decided to go get Quinterly. because they just don't. He's not a point guard. He doesn't have point guard skill set.
Yeah, he's just the height of one. He's 6'3".
Right. Well, he's Caleb's 6'5".
Oh, Caleb Mills.
Oh,
he must be rude. But
now he looks. Have you seen him? He's a long.
Bottom line, Jordan Brown is the go-to guy. So what that means is you gotta have spacing out there. You gotta have extreme size.
If DeAndre,
well, that's if they grant him the waiver, they might or might not.
Which the attorney Doug Jackson feels confident that he's gonna get that. The way he speaks on it, he's confident that he's gonna get that waiver granted. And that's why he actually stepped in. The way they're going about it, the school is not going to handle this matter or request a waiver for DeAndre. DeAndre has decided to go independent and hire Penny's lawyer, which is Don Jackson, to do the waiver because Don feels like he has a better chance to get the waiver cleared than the school does.
I agree with that.
You know,
but,
so.
That starting five, basically, this is the starting five. Whoever can compliment Jordan Brown the best, you get to go out there and start. Right. Because you play around your go-to player in college ball, even more so than you do in the NBA. Because in the NBA, you'll use your star player as a decoy. Jokic has no problem with that. Bron has had no problem with that. Curry definitely ain't never had a problem with that. In the NBA, you can be a decoy as the best player. In college, the best player must be the best player for you to win outright. It don't matter what happens. And if you don't believe me, go look at Kemba Walker's run. You can win it all off your star players back in college. Can't do that shit in the NBA. It's not gonna happen. Closest thing we ever saw to that was 07. Nah. But I think that's a starting five. Whoever compliments Jordan Brown, and that means spacing. So if you can shoot the ball in the summer, then you got a good shot. I do know this. I believe people can play their way into playing time. I'm telling you right now, Jonathan Pierre is going to end this season as the best player on that team. I just got 100% confidence.
When he first committed, that's the way I felt about it. He was going to probably be their best player, just based off of. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. It's not going to be the case starting out the first half of the season. If I had to bet on it, I would say no, because of the fact now you got Jordan Brown and very possibly DeAndre Williams coming back in the fold. If both of them back, there's no way you're going to be the best player unless you just go break out crazy. And that's possible, but I just think the offense is going to be so focused on him that. But the key to it with him, where he can emerge and he can get those touches, he shot over 40% from three. And he's a hell of a catch and shoot player. So with the defenses having to really focus and game plan around Jordan Brown and DeAndre, that's going to leave a lot of attention off of Jonathan Pierre to come knock down some shots. So he very well could earn that opportunity to develop into becoming the best player on the team. So
at 6'10", I say this. If you put him out there with DeAndre and Jordan Brown, at 6'10", and the way he covered ground because he athletic, who the hell in college is going to hold a 6'10" small forward with handling some athleticism? I just don't see. Like, that's my whole point. Like, you got to choose between a dude that went out there damn near and scored 20 last year in DeAndre, or another motherfucker that just averaged almost 20. Like, and they both in the perimeter. They both on the interior. Wow. And then you got this dude who you ain't got, no matter how you scouted him, he going to come in again as a completely different player. Because that's what he's done the last 3 years of his basketball career.
Again, DeAndre shoots 40% too, so that space is a lot. He shot over 40%.
And then the thing with Jonathan Pierre that separates him from everybody on this team is because he is the only absolute 3-level player. Absolute. There is no question. There is nothing shaky about the handle. There's nothing shaky about how he finishes because it's above the rim. Ain't nothing shaky about the passing because he got the vision. And he got he has an extreme textbook touch. When he shoots, it's textbook. And it ain't a set shot. So he already got fluidity. So I'm just really high on the guy. But again, the starting lineup is basically whoever compliments the guy that you know is the go-to player. Mm-hmm. And that's Jordan Brown. So whoever can shoot, you can hit down shots, fine.
I think if I had to say, and then there's another guy that's unspoken of in this lineup. Jalen Young from UCF transfer. Um, the kid was 6'2". He's about 6'2", 6'1". Um, man, hell of a player, crafty, lefty, can shoot. Um, he's definitely a capable shooter. Um, knows how to run an offense and prove it. He played when he played at UCF last year. I forgot the guy name that was in front of him that went down. That was out for the first few games of the first portion of the season. Jalen Young, I forgot his name. Damn, and he was a star player. He had a big recruiting, a lot of hoopla around his transfer, his recruiting transfer. So I forgot his name, but anyway, Jalen Young started off the season 8-1 as the starter in place of him before they went back to him, and they fell apart when they went back to the guy who was supposed to start over Jalen Young because of politics. I don't know what Johnny Dawkins was thinking. Just win, but he decided to go back with his guy, and what do you know? They fell apart. They ultimately didn't make the tournament. They started out 8-1. So, you could have been playing cupcakes, but I don't think so. I think it was partially, it might have been there, but it was also definitely the fact that you switched up your starting point guard. I'm pretty sure that had something to do with it. But nevertheless, he with us now. And I know Penny gonna give him a chance. So if he come in, and he's crafty. Don't sleep on him. He's crafty. And he a dog. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna come in and he's gonna play hard, and he's gonna, whoever in front of him, he's gonna make them earn and keep. So that's one thing I like about him. And whoever comes in as a point guard, he's gonna be a good emergency option regardless. And he could fuck around and become the starter. So there's somebody that don't sleep on as well. Now, because of the politics, if Mikey or Quinterly come in, they're going to get their starting spot on him. If Quinterly comes in, for sure. If Mikey come in, they might make it more of a competition just from a humbling factor and the fact he's a freshman. And you got a guy who started out 8-1 that has an experience already on the D1 level. So if I had to say the starting lineup as of today, who signed, I would go Mikey, David Jones. No, I would go Jalen Young, David Jones, unless Mikey come in and he Mikey. Now, we want to predict that he's going to come in with that type of hunger and that ambition and that chip on his shoulder. Then his talent is going to prevail him. But just from a normal perspective of what's possible, what's likely, just experience and everything else, Jalen might start it out. So it'll probably be, I guess the question is, am I predicting the starting lineup, or am I giving you what I think should be the starting lineup? If I'm predicting the starting lineup, it's going to be Jalen Young, David Jones, T.I.F.L. Leonard, DeAndre, if DeAndre is cleared, and Jordan Brown. If DeAndre is not cleared, so we're going to operate with what's technical as of today, T.I.F.L. could play the 4, and that will open up for Jonathan Pierre to possibly start at the 3. Or they could potentially go with Nick Jordan from Temple, who transferred to the team.
The reason I don't think they do that is because you went and got Jordan Brown, but you didn't get another big. Right. So you need somebody. So I think the Jordan kid, I think he come off the bench no matter what. It's no choice there. Because you just can't go super small for a whole season off the open. It's just not. Especially, when you got teams that in college, it's so many teams that come out there and they have 4, 6, 11 guys as big as hell. UConn went out there with nobody less than 240 down there in the paint in college. And that's how they bullied everybody into a championship, basically. Mm-hmm. So, that happens. So I don't think you want to get caught in that predicament. But, it'll be interesting to see what Penny do. What Rick Stansbury do the first 3 games and what Penny do the rest of the season.
I think as far as that team goes, if DeAndre comes back, without DeAndre, that's a top 25 team. Without DeAndre, that's a top 25 team. It's just too much talent on that team. And what I like about this talent, they're a lot more proven than a typical situation. It's very unlike anything we've ever had before. And when I say we, in terms of the college basketball circuit, because you haven't had a team full of transfers from top to bottom, basically. And then whatever ain't a transfer is a freshman. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's new, but most of these guys that are new, probably 7 of them, maybe 8, are transfers, guys that have already had college experience before coming in. And these are a lot of guys that are coming in with pro prospects too. So have that many pro hopeful guys come in as transfers, this is going to be something I don't think I've ever seen before. I don't think it has ever been anything like this before, because the rules, the NCAA rules, have never allowed for a situation to develop.
I mean, they mercenaries, man.
Right.
That's what it is.
Exactly. Mercs for hire, man. And he went out and got him. He got experienced mercs for hire.
20% of the entire NCAA basketball was in the transfer portal. So you got 300-some teams, and they got 13 scholarships a pop, and 20% of that was in the transfer portal.
And not to cut you off, my bad. Keep this in mind. I like it. I like the drama. I like the storyline of having the portal open like that. I know there's a lot of conservatives that don't like it from just a traditional optic standpoint. But, you know, let these guys have some freedom. If they ain't happy where they at, the coach can leave whenever he wants to. So why can't the player have that option? So I'm really excited about that. It just gives the offseason of college basketball an entirely different level of storyline, just intrigue and mystique and drama and everything that you want that'll keep you interested in. That's going to build up the buzz. That creates rivalries. You know, us taking Jalen Young from UCF. If we played La Tech before, we taking a Jordan Brown from La Tech. You know what I mean? That creates rivalries. Us taking, if you know, we're not playing Duke, but hypothetically, if we were to play a Duke, we outbid we basically won Jonathan Pierre away from Duke, away from Kentucky.
Yeah, we played Tyler Harris went to USF.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What was his name? Alex Lomax was originally scheduled to go to Wichita State.
Yeah,
so you know, it's look, I've been waiting for them to do it for years. Cut the locks off, man. If it's capitalism, let it be capitalism for all. You know, hey, if that's what you promising, if that's what Lady Liberty promising, then fuck you, do it. And if not, then cut the bullshit and, you know, admit you're a hypocrite. But the locks are cut off, and this is where we at with it now.
So, second thing we want to jump into today is dwell and delve and dive and wive and swive is the NBA free agency, man. It's been interesting. Some folks say it's been boring, but for us it ain't, man, because we get what we want. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Grizzlies have done their thing. The rest of the league, you got your boy Dylan. You know what I'm saying? I like, you know, everybody said Dylan he wasn't worth, he wasn't going to get what he was going to get. He was going to have to take a minimal deal or take part of the MLE. You know, nanny boo-boo. Go get paid, man. There's words of young dog, man. Get paid, young nigga, get paid. Salute to DB, man. I'm looking forward to them games that you play the Grizzlies. I hope you drop 50 and y'all still lose, of course. But I do hope you drop 50. I damn near bet money that DB gonna improve drastically this year in terms of his efficiency. Just the type of character and just that type of animal DB is. The embarrassment, the criticism, just the whole experience that he went through from this season, especially the playoffs, of him not being efficient. That's going to drive him to get better. That's going to drive him. That's why what I like about what I saw from DB versus other guys that played for the Grizzlies this past season, when they post the video, is actually working on some shit that you really need to work on. Not doing cute dunks with some other sweaty motherfucker in the gym against jumping over the front desk intern on his lunch break, you probably threw him $100 to come stand in front of you or some shit. Like, show us a video, bro. It's time, bro. We just got our asses handed to us in the playoffs. Bro, show me a video of you doing some shit you got to really do, bro, that we need to work on. I don't want to see you doing acrobatic dunks and shit. That shit you ain't doing that shit in no game anyway. Because if you was, we probably wouldn't have been out in the first round. So I like that. Kudos to DB, get paid because you went out and did that. You secured that 80 over 4. That's 20 a year. So basically, he got Jared Jackson money. Shit, to be honest with you, he got he got close around the same amount in salary. He just didn't get the extra year, of course, because he's going to a new team. But
no, Jared just signed a 4-year deal.
It was 4 years.
He just signed for 25, so he got 5 more a year.
Okay, yeah, right. So good deal. Yeah, so either way, with that, my boy went and got paid, and just proving to the naysayers, man, it's a market out here for an animal, man. They play defense and average 15 points a game over the course of their career. A 15-point score on an all-defense team. Hey, man, you all right with me, man. Salute to you. Go get your money, bro. And I look forward to you playing. And depending on how y'all do with Indy, I think y'all gonna fuck around, be a playoff team just based on what I see with the Rockies this all season. I think they got enough vets to where if shit on that, they're gonna have to go get a beat man because Alperin said, "Go, I like you."
And when they get John Glendale,
like I said, they're gonna have to go get a beat man. Alperin said, "Go, I like you." But
they traded Garuba, but now they waived him or something.
I know they ain't waived Garuba. That would have been.
They got rid of him.
They must have traded.
Oh, they did something.
Because he was a first round pick. I know they ain't crazy. Like
shit, so was Josh Christopher, but they unloaded him.
He was a second round.
No, he was a 24th pick.
Josh was 24?
Yes.
For real? I thought Josh went like 40 or something.
Nah. They
okay.
Free agency is
and I've been following Josh. I actually leading up to the draft for the Grizzlies. We'll get into Josh in a second because that'll probably go into the Grizzlies. I want to we're gonna stay on this. But you absolutely right because he played for the Rockies. But I think with the Rockies free agency, man, from what I seen, they went and got Uncle Jeff. They went and got Fred VanVleet. 3 years, $130 million. I don't think he's worth it because, he's just not a true leader. You're basically paying him to come in and be the guy.
They had to pay for the floor, though. They had to meet the cap space.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
that's why they overpay everybody.
Yeah, like they ain't had no choice. Like with free agency, I so look forward to watching the Washington Wizards play. And the reason I said that, have you ever seen a bloopers reel where the music goes do 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 when Kuzma and Poole get on that floor together? It's gonna look like a goddamn America's Funniest Home Video, and I can't wait to see that bullshit. Hey, the Washington Wizards are gonna be the most entertaining team in the NBA for all the wrong reasons, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna see a show of people just throw. You ever been in the gym, an open gym and study hall, when the motherfuckers just run out there and just shoot the ball from half court and shit, and you like, damn, bro, we playing for real. That's gonna be the Washington Wizards this year. Like they leaning on Kuzma and Poole. Man, I'm finna listen. I am finna watch the hell out to watch the Wizards and a team I'm gonna watch.
I'm trying to remember who did they draft.
They drafted Koulibaly, but they traded him to the Pacers, and they got Jarris Walker. No, they got Koulibaly out of the trade.
They got
Koulibaly. The Pacers got Jarris Walker.
Okay.
So, and that was the other team I was gonna actually speak of. Tyrese Halliburton has gotten
$60 million.
Tyrese Halliburton got 260, and make no mistake about it, he is the best traditional point guard in the NBA right now. Hands down, there is no question. I talk about Tyrese Halliburton a lot because his IQ high. He can shoot that shot from deep.
Catch and shoot elite.
And he got an extra alley-oop target. The New York Knicks, and this is free agency to me. They handed Obi Toppin over for a pack of bazooka gum and fruit stripe gum. That man is way more talented than whatever the fuck they're gonna get back for him. But that's the curse.
They should have never drafted him though, because I ain't gonna lie, as a Knicks fan, that night it's ironic that we're talking about these two guys. If my Twitter accounts weren't locked that I was tweeting from at that time, go back and pull those tweets up. But I was literally months leading up to the draft. That's the only guy I wanted. I locked in on Tyrese Halliburton for the Knicks. He was the guy. This is before they had Jalen Brunson. They needed a point guard. This is when Derrick came in, Rose came in, but he was hurt. So it was clear, either if he wasn't hurt, he's up in age. So they needed a point guard. The need for them couldn't have been more clear. So for them to go out and draft Obi Toppin when you already had Julius Randle with the 8th pick because he happened to hire his agent happens to be CAA, Leon Rose's son. That's what you drafted him for. Then when you draft him, Tibbs don't want him, so Tibbs just don't play him. Then I don't know if you saw lead up to the night before the draft, the audio leaked out where I think that was game 4 of their last series against the Heat. Obi didn't play in the second half. And Obi went out to Tibbs in the locker room. Somebody recorded the footage, recorded the audio.
Can't blame him. I would have.
And leaked that shit out. He was going out like, yo, Tibbs, what the fuck? He was just like, what the fuck was that? You ain't playing me. He went after him. And guys was pulling him back. They was scuffling. You could hear the tussling. You could hear guys pulling him. And he was like, nah, man, this motherfucker can't coach. This motherfucker can't coach.
I agree.
So,
I agree with over top.
It was, and with Toppin, for me, you can't play fucking defense. You don't shoot well enough to where I'm willing to compromise the defense for you to be out there. You don't play fucking defense. Your lateral movement is terrible. It's just the way you built up. You got one of them hunchback cat bills, and usually the hunchback cats don't do well laterally. It's just the way they're built up. And it's just the reality, bro. You can't play in the post because you're not strong enough. You don't have that type of physicality in your game. You weren't even that guy at Dayton. That's why you only average 8 rebounds in the fucking Atlantic 10 conference. So for me, I gotta disagree with you on that. Tibbs can coach. Tibbs coached Minnesota to the playoffs. That's a motherfucking coach to me. The problem is you got a motherfucker on the team who thought he was something that he wasn't, a star. And they had no business putting Tibbs in that situation to play him. What the fuck I'm gonna play you? How can I play you when my all NBA guy is you playing his position? How many minutes can I play
I
you?
can't say. I'll say this. I'm so happy Obi Toppin is free. And he gets to play with a point guard that definitely can set him up above
easy
the rim.
lobs on offense. He'll come off the bench and do that. And he'll also get exposed for not being what he thought he was, a starter.
Well, him and Jarris Walker, they're going to fight that out.
Oh, Jarris Walker going to take it.
Yeah,
Jarris Walker can play defense, bang. He can do everything that kept Obi ass on the bench.
And they threw Duarte away.
He didn't play defense.
Really
I think that just I guess that they had to. He didn't play no defense, so that's why he went from being rookie of the year caliber. Remember when he first came out the gate? He was out the gate, and then he just fell off. It was because of the defense. He just refused to play defense.
I think Sabonis' contract surprised me because the way he was exposed,
right? 217.
Yeah, the way he was exposed in the playoffs as probably one of the worst paint defenders I've ever seen in my life in any era of the NBA. Like he is absolutely. He's just one of the most horrible defenders I've ever seen in my life, period, in the NBA. Or even at any level I've ever seen basketball played organized. Offensively, the guy's an all-star. But defensively, he's so poor to the point he can cost you games. And
cost.
Yeah, and to give him 217, I'm like, you could have probably gave the dude 190, 195 and got away with it.
Mind you traded Tyrese Halliburton for him.
Well, they had De'Aaron Fox, and that's more than the insurance policy.
For me, I totally got that. And they actually showed they can play well together. But for me, I would have traded D Fox before I would have traded.
That's what I said at the time. But the owner, what's his name, Vivek? The dude with the fitness center.
Yeah,
he wanted Fox. Fox is the more electrifying player. And you don't like the beam with the traditional point guard. You like the beam with a burst of speed. And he's gone like a blur. So and then Malik Monk electrifying off the bench. Like electricity is what he wanted. That's what Shaq told him to get. That's what Vlade told him to get. And they finally got it right in some capacity. So I got to give them that.
And D Fox finally proved himself to be a winner this year. So
it was. I mean, free agency has been. It's been okay. You take the Lakers. Everybody's wondering where the fuck is all the Lakers money?
I was about to get to them next on there, man. Me personally, go ahead. Me personally, go ahead.
I think the Lakers are turning monopoly money into real money and stuffing it in the coffers of the NBA's pocket because these folks signing everybody. Now I know that somebody's gonna pull out one of them touchscreen boards on ESPN or Fox, and they're gonna break down a goddamn quadratic formula.
How the salaries get fit.
Or how these folks made it work. But man, goddamn. I mean, they pretty much.
I mean, can you blame the player, blame the game? And then
I can't blame nobody.
You know what? Salute to their capologists. More than anything. Whoever they capologists, the Grizzlies capologists and they capologists.
It was people saying before free agency started that they didn't know how the Lakers would get Rui and Austin Reeves back. They were saying that's all you can get, and you probably can't use Miller. They fuck that. They let some people go that people didn't think they were gonna let go.
And they convinced Austin to play for less than everybody was expecting because everybody was saying $100 million.
I did look. It's people.
He got 60.
It's people on Twitter that explain how they felt about Austin Reeves to me, and it's a young lady. I think her name on there, Betsy Cash Money, but she broke it down and she put it in a logical way that made sense on why it happened. I just don't have a lot of faith to do it. Like his track record is from March 1st to the end of the season.
Well, I will say this in the 2-3 years he's been in the league, he's constantly got better.
Yeah, he got better,
and he was a hooper at Oklahoma. He was their guy. He was a hooper there. Oklahoma, that man was a hooper.
I think he cold. This is my point.
He didn't have his personality hadn't developed yet. And you want to be honest, the difference in what I see now and then, honestly, that progression was there. The type of his stat line now, he's pretty much been able to translate what he was in college to the NBA. His stat line is pretty much the exact same.
I think he got the contract that fits. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think 456. I think he got what actually fit who he is. He got $14 million a year. That's about right for him. That's right in that Brandon Clark range. $1 million a year more than Clark. I think it makes sense. I think he's where he need to be. I don't think he was finna be a bidding war for Austin Reeves. I don't. I think they paid him fair. I think they paid him very fairly.
You don't think the Grizzlies would win?
Hell the fuck and no. I don't think anybody would have bidded for him. I like him, but at 456, 4 for 56, that's good, is what I'm saying. 14 a year is about where you get him. 2025 is insane. 25. Listen, no matter how you feel about Jaren Jackson Jr., it's no way in hell.
He's the best, arguably the best contract.
That's what I'm saying.
It's top 3. McCall is in there too, but
it's no way you give Austin Reeves, Jaren Jackson Jr. contract.
Type of money.
That doesn't happen in reality.
But Jaren contract should not be. He should be getting paid a lot more.
Well,
which we take it.
The cap go up every year, so you get paid. That's the same way. Even if Josh signed for the max last year, he still couldn't have made what LaMelo Ball and Tyrese Halliburton made because every year the max is going to go up.
Right.
So that's why
the salary goes up.
Because Jason Tatum is going to be the first person with a $300 million contract, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen. He's going to make $60 a year for 5 years. It's going to be 60 with a sliding scale up. So he's going to make in excess of $300 million plus. So it's just how it works. Every year for everybody out there in La La Land listening, the cap goes up every year, and then TV money comes along every 10 years or so with a new deal. So that's why if you see like LeBron never really been the highest paid player in the league, that's the reason. It's just because the timing of when he came along and got his re-ups, it just didn't coincide with when the numbers went up more. So don't feel discouraged and disheartened because your favorite player is not the highest paid player in the league. It's just, and then you have to remember something else. Accolades accumulated also count for that. Because if you go get 2 MVPs like Jokic got and all these first teams, he can go get 340, 350 whenever it's time for him to re-up or more. Because his track record is going to be insane. He's going to be the guy with the insane track record. Ooh. Giannis and Jokic are going to have the most insane track record when the new TV deal cuts.
The money
they're going to get is going to be the most insane. Because nobody else has nobody else has the personal accolades to match them.
So they'll literally be making probably like 75 million a year type shit.
Yeah, it'll be crazy money. So it'll be Lionel Messi money. Is what they'll be getting.
And they deserve it. I think I wish LeBron was in his prime could get some of that money
because he had to give him 100 a year.
Yeah, it really sucks to see the greatest names are gonna miss out on their money because I don't think that the stars of today will ever be as big as those guys. I don't see.
You know what?
It's great, or it's great in terms of success, appeal, and their impact and evolution of the game.
The evolution of the game is an odd conversation because to me, and we ain't gonna deviate too much, but since he brought it up, we'll exchange on this for briefly. The evolution of the game to me was Wilt. To me, the most rules changed around Wilt Chamberlain. Mm-hmm. They literally had to expand the painted area just because of his existence.
They probably Shaq with the songs and everything.
I don't think. I honestly don't think Shaq was responsible for the zone. When David Stern started pushing their European agenda, you cannot have this many European players in the league and not have zone. If you send them folks out there to play one-on-one,
they couldn't play. But I think Shaq was the one who made it clear though. Like you could not, and he was the guy where it was like he was the only guy on the court. That's very true. But Shaq was the guy on the court that made it so apparent in live action. Like do something. Like the rules. Like to the folks who didn't want to see that game, which was not me. I want to see where Shaq was going. But for the novice fans that were coming in, they wanted there to be some type of tipping of the scale. So he was able to, I think Stern did that. I don't disagree with it in terms of the European game. I think that gives it a bigger picture, evolution in terms of allowing many more guys to play in the league today who couldn't have played back then, the Lucas and guys like that play to the degree that they play. But I think Shaq had something to do with it as well, man, especially – I think when you talk about guys who have had to get or help evolve the rules of the gameplay, I think you definitely gotta put Shaq in there because guys were getting contracts just to foul Shaq. Like literally, and then that became the tradable contract. Like I'm gonna get you, sign you to foul Shaq, and then trade you as a tradable contract for another.
Listen, when me and my dad was watching the Phoenix Suns play the Houston Rockets when Yao Ming got drafted. Mm-hmm. And when Stephon Marbury set him on his ass with that crossover, my daddy looked at me and said, they ain't gonna let that happen too much more. Mm-hmm. Listen, you could not go get these guys from these other countries. Now, this is back then. Now, I'm not talking about now. But back then, you couldn't go get a bunch of European big guys or guys from other countries and put them out there with American point guards. Ooh, it was a fucking feed. It was a shark feeding frenzy. If you ever watch Shark Week on Discovery Channel, that's what the fuck it looked like. Now he held his own, but you had Nate Robinson jumping over when he had to, try to recover and all that. So it was the game. To me, the game changes to bring in more dollars. Like the same way people got tired of seeing Wilt Chamberlain dunk on 4 goddamn people. Under the way he was able to do it, he was able to bag one guy down all the way, which didn't take much because the lane was so short. And then by the time he turned, everybody else too little. He breaking people's hand in the rim and shit.
Truth be told, based on his athleticism, Wilt would have did that shit today. Wilt would have been Giannis today, just bigger.
Yeah, way stronger.
He and faster.
And more
because he was a fucking world class sprinter. So I mean, guy, he would have been Giannis today, except bigger and stronger and faster. Like, it would have been crazy.
With free agency, man, one thing I peeped one thing I picked about free agency was certain players, even if they got potential or even if they have produced a little bit, they still throwaways to some of these GMs. And I think in Toronto, it was a major wake-up call because I don't think anybody's going to trade for any of them people.
For Anunoby, though, about their players.
I don't think anybody
Well,
trades for
I
him.
think the report came out about a week or two ago about Masai, and we even talked about this on the episode like 7. I think I'll go back and check that out. But in that episode, we talked about Masai and how there were reports that came out recently where executives around the league, the consensus is that he's difficult to work with. His demands are just absurd and just irrational in terms of what he wants. You know, bro want 8 first-round picks or some shit for Anunoby because he turned down 4. So if you turn
Thank you for turning them down.
I totally agree. I was one. Matter of fact, I was the lone wolf probably in the Grizzlies Twitter on them spaces that was telling y'all no to OG. Like, don't do it. It wasn't worth it. Because if I said it then, if you watched him play, he wanted to be a top option. If you watch how he played this year, he tried to put the ball on the ground more than ever this year. He wanted to prove that he could be a go-to scorer. You think he gonna come here and drop down on the pecking order? Hell no, especially going into his contract year. He wanted to dribble the ball more this year. And now reports have come out a few days ago saying, hey, wherever OG ends up, or even if he stays in Toronto, he wants a bigger role where he puts the ball on the floor more. He wants more ball handling responsibilities. So that when his contract, he's playing for his contract. That's basically what the report was that put out from his source, from his people, or people around him that understand his way of thinking. He's playing his game. He wants his game to be predicated towards contract year. I want the ball. I want to show y'all I can be a top-notch, all-star level scorer. So I was glad that they did go get him. But in terms of Masai, the image around him has become that he's difficult and he just wants too much. You know, he wants a king's ransom. He basically trying to hold everybody hostage. And now that's what that's going to do. They're going to just freeze you out, bro. They're going to freeze you out and force you to drop them in terms of the assets for far less than what you could have got had you went ahead and made the deal. Because if this is what it tells me, for you to turn down 4, you was going to turn down 5. Because if you had to turn down, if 5 was the number to get you to make that trade, somebody would have just came in and offered you that QP, even if they have to win and made some salaries to go come up on the late first round. Somebody would have made one. If y'all were that close to where 5 would have been versus the 4 being offered, somebody would have made that offer by that because there was too many teams who wanted OG. So I just feel like, you know, the book is out on Masai, man. I don't fuck with you anyway because you don't hire black coaches. I've been peeped that about you. But the book is out on you in terms of the way you do stuff, man, that you know, that you're a little greedy. So, hey, man, they're going to freeze you out. So don't be surprised if y'all see him eventually start having to load guys for dirt cheap because he ain't doing it. But I think if he keep them, that's good too because he'll keep OG them. And that'll give Darko a better look in terms of what he can play with. You know,
well, Masai, he's lost several players for nothing.
Right.
Over his tenure. I have peeped that.
And I would say with Masai, I think this summer he went and re-signed Jakob. It's like he prioritized the wrong. I don't know. For a guy that's held up as a genius GM, and he is a very good one. He done won a ring. He did something most GMs hate. Vast majority of the GMs don't do. Because it's usually the same GM winning the rings if y'all pay attention. When one win a ring, they'll end up winning 4 or 5 before they retire, which means they pretty much was one of those 3 or 4 elite GMs. They pretty much be that way. But yeah, so I think with him, with Masai, man, he gonna get froze out. That's gonna force him to drop guys for far less than what he wanted to originally if he had to pick up the deals then. But going to the topics at hand, staying on cue, the Derrick Rose signing. What does that mean to you, and what does that mean to the Grizzlies? That's a good question. That I'll say this first. with Rose, man, we get a chance to right some wrongs in terms of the relationship that was strained between the city of Memphis and Derrick Rose. Ain't got nothing to do with the Grizzlies, but kudos to the Grizzlies for their signing, because that signing allowed the city to benefit in so many different ways outside of you just on court with the Grizzlies. That's going to allow the relationship. 9 times, I'm pretty sure that's going to allow that relationship between the University of Memphis and Derrick Rose to be fully mended as well. That's one of our own, man. That's outside of Penny, that's the biggest star we've never had. And to be honest with you, he took us somewhere Penny never took us. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality. We have some moments, man, some memories, some experiences that we want to celebrate, and we won't be able to fully do that until now with Rose, everything coming full circle where he's going to be playing in Memphis. So that's a beautiful thing, because for years, Rose refused to even acknowledge Memphis in the starting lineups. When he came out, he would be acknowledged, he would be introduced as senior high school, you know what I'm saying? Southside Chicago, shout out to y'all. I know that's where he's from, but typically when you go to school, you put down there for who you come out under the name that you went to school with. So for him to, I don't know what happened on the surface or what's being said in terms of all the allegations, the drama, all that stuff. But I don't know what really happened to where he got to the point where this man said he don't even want to be associated with our school, our city in any shape, form, or fashion. It rubbed me the wrong way for years because I was a Rose fan, and I felt like we protected Rose in this city. And I remember it was some nights in the Plush Club. Rose then was there, plenty of guys was there, and we got great memories with brother. My brother touched hands in the city, hung out with people in the city. And we want to be able to rebuild and reconnect in their relationship. So I think that's a beautiful thing that's bigger than anything. And I think that as far as on the court, in terms of his impact with the Grizzlies, even before you even get to on the court, man, the leadership, his reputation precedes him. It's Derrick Rose. You got a motherfucker who's still selling sneakers. He only got to touch the court. The Derrick Rose sneaker still sells. The Derrick Rose jersey still sells. People still show up to see Derrick Rose. So you got a guy who's gonna probably have his own autograph line coming in. So Ja can relate to him when he say, between me and you, I seen this and I would go about it this way. You can do what you want to do, but this is how I would go about it. And he might be the guy to just be able to straight up tell, guy in certain situations on the court, hey man, Jaren hot tonight. Let's go through Jaren. Let's work on your perimeter game. Because Rose understood, Rose played the same way that Ja's playing now. All at the rim, being one of the best paint pressurers in the rim in the league, putting that pressure on the paint, and not really doing it anywhere else in terms of your perimeter game. Rose is gonna be able to come in and say, look, bro, I know you lead the league in paint points and you're unstoppable and go all the way to the paint. Can't nobody put pressure on the rim like you. But I will say this, bro. Had I added the 3-point game to my repertoire when I had your athleticism, I might not have suffered some of the injuries I suffered. So that's going to, hopefully he's already with Ja locked and still. I'm hoping that's understood with Kleiman. Hey, man, first, soon as you sign that contract, here go Ja number. If you ain't already got it, I want y'all to be together this summer. If I'm the head coach, that's it. Because you can kind of put that out there that that's what you want. Hey, man, I want you with him this summer. If you don't do shit else with us this season, go get with him this summer throughout this suspension. It's important for you to get with him now. Let him work on some of the things that he needs to work on personally and all of that, but get with him and work on his game and get him to where he needs to be in terms of shooting so he won't suffer the same path or the same fate that you suffered in terms of, with the knees and whatnot. But, so I feel like with Ja, Rose is going to be an amazing addition, bro, in terms of leadership, not just for Ja, for the whole team, even for the coaching staff. You bring in somebody who is not intimidating to the coaching staff. He don't rub anybody the wrong way. Some guys, veteran guys you bring in, that's probably why they didn't bring in Jay Crowder. I truly believe coaching staff couldn't handle Jay Crowder. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I like Jay Crowder. I think he could have still been productive for us, but I like the Rose fit even better, even in terms of his leadership style, his personality. He's a guy that understands. He's cool. He Derrick Rose. He's still Derrick Rose in terms of his brand. So he ain't hungry to try to go chase contracts and all of that. He's a guy that at this point in his career, he's cool with stepping in, filling in for Ja for these 25 games as needed, and then stepping back into more of a reserve or backup role and helping guide these young cats and being a OG to usher them into their championship contention. I really am excited about the Rose addition, man, as well as the Marcus Smart addition. Because one thing I like about Rose, I was worried about Marcus Smart being on this team as the basically the oldest guy, the veteran on the roster. I was a little concerned about that. Nothing wrong with Marcus Smart, but I know Marcus, as the Celtics fans say, he tends to go Marcus time. And who gonna stop him on this team if that came to be? Because if you saw in Boston, even Jaylen Brown and Tatum deferred to him a lot. When he decided to go Marcus side, they would let him. Brian Scalabrine spoke on him, who played with the Celtics, who covers them now. He spoke on Marcus Smart, and he said something that was very consistent with what we all see when you watch them play. You got to keep Marcus Smart involved in terms of ball movement, because if you don't, he'll go into Marcus Smart. He'll go into Marcus time. Basically, he'll turn into Dylan Brooks on you if need be. If you're not getting him involved, if you don't move the ball to where he touched it, he might not have to take the shot, but he at least needs to touch the ball every possession or at least every other possession. Because if not, he gonna tend to just say screw it, and he gonna get heels. The good thing about having Derrick Rose on this team is Derrick Rose got to step in and tell Marcus, look, bro, I know you want to get yours, but at the end of the day, when they hot, man, let these young boys do this their team. You know what I'm saying? They the guys, they're the stars of the team. And that's the one guy that even a Marcus Smart don't respect. Not just because of his resume, not because he's still a better offensive player than Marcus Smart. To this day, I would bet anything on that right now. Not even just because of that, but also because of his temperament, the way he'll come in a person in that regard. Derrick Rose got a certain temperament to where he can say certain things, and just because of who he is, people are more willing to receive it. So that's a good thing about the Rose signing that I've observed. What you think so far?
Whew. Well, you said a lot, and you said the right shit. You said something I was gonna say too, actually, about the him having a crash and burn game. He could tell Ja not to burn. Damn sure don't crash. For me, with Rose in the city, first of all, you got a lot of Morton salt, yellow raincoat wearing motherfuckers in Memphis. It's some salty people over Rose for multiple reasons. Look, man, shut the fuck up. Dude was cold as hell, man. He came in here, he kicked ass from the jump. He deferred to CDR them at first in the season. And then when he realized, hey, I'm really the most talented person here, and I'm pretty sure they told him that too.
The Tennessee game. I remember it was the Tennessee game where he found
he should have probably took over from the jump. In the tournament, every single goddamn analyst that was dick riding, all them quote unquote big conference blue bloods, he kicked the shit out of all their point guard. Drew Neitzel, AJ Abrams, DJ Augustin, ran through all, and Russell Westbrook. Yep. He ran through everybody, including Chalmers. He had a better game than everybody individually through that tournament. Hell, the only people that came close was Jamont Gordon and Tyler Hansborough, little brother, as I recall, with Mississippi State. They the only team.
DJ Augustin gave him a little.
Man, that man got his head. Trim. Him man, AJ Abrams.
Killed him in the play.
Look, man, the man came here. He gave you everything he had, man. He was 18. He's a kid. You know what I'm saying? He jumped into a world. He jumped into a world that was full of shit he didn't know. The same way John did. He jumped into a world he didn't know, man. And it was some things involved in that world that, again, he just didn't know, bro. And honestly, he probably didn't give a fuck about either. And it came back to bite the university in a certain way. I ain't complaining about no banner, bro, because if you cut on YouTube, you can still see the game. So use your goddamn brain, right? So that
and we can win anyway.
That's how people are. And as you know, they're the miserable. It's some people here that just like in any city, it's some people that love to live in squalor and misery. So those are the people that's gonna have an issue, and that's why something got to be patched up in the first place. Because a bunch of old ass Tiger fans who sit in there and then priced all the young people out the ticket because we can't afford to get the season ticket and pay for the season.
And they don't show up. I be at the games. Y'all buy the tickets and don't even show up. This shit is sick. It's disgusting.
That's because they got to get their Metamucil milkshake.
That shit is crazy.
These motherfuckers old as shit,
bro. They buy up all the tickets, bro. I'll go to the thing. You'll be forced. Me and you, we forced to go sit in the bleachers. It ain't about what we can afford. It's about policies. We ain't in that loop to get them tickets first. They get all the tickets and then have us sitting up. They donate a lot. The whole Lord Bowl is wide.
They donate a lot to the university too. So they paying for seating license.
Give your tickets away. Nobody telling you not to get them.
They don't know who to donate it to because they don't fraternize with the rest of the population of the city.
That's a problem. Give them to the school. Let the school be responsible for distributing.
The goddamn school can't even get nobody in the student section.
But that's because of the way and I'm not disagreeing. You hitting on, you cooking. I'm glad you said that. Even with that, the reason why that's a problem is because the schools changed up the way the student section is supposed to conduct it. Like they changed it where you couldn't come over there. Like it had certain requirements. You had to have your student ID. At first, you didn't have to do all that. You could really just come dressed with your Tiger stuff. If you said you was a student or you didn't have on the shirt, if you had on the M on your chest, you was in the student section. Now they're adding more rules and more requirements to where it kind of killed the student section, to where student section like, hey, y'all already ain't been in the tournament in years. We done went through the Tubby era and shit. Now y'all want to make it harder. Screw it.
As far as roles, man, it's just you got some geriatric people in the fan base that just feel a certain way because I'm gonna be honest, man. It's racial undertones. Me, it's that boy shouldn't have, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I heard certain conversations, sit in certain places, donut shop, certain places where them older folks, they own what they own. You know what I'm saying? But they own what they own in every city. You know, look at Dolan, how he did open. Look, it's fuck people everywhere. So them the people that, you know, would make him want to distance himself. And I can't blame him. I really can't, to be honest. Like, that's just the truth. But he coming back, and his love from us, and his love from the people that count from, that's how I feel. It's all love with the guy. I think him coming here, man, I don't know what he got in the tank. I think he's still an NBA player. I don't really care what he got in the tank, honestly, on the court. I care more about the fact he could sit down with Ja. And Ja was so happy, he posted a picture of him and Rose squatting down and half court together. So he know, like,
he actually retweeted Greer's company, man.
Yeah, his picture. Yeah, so shout out to Kobe Greer's company, man. Like, that's what, you know, that's how much Ja had. Like, because this guy can walk him through every step. You got a big shoe deal? This is how you handle a big shoe deal.
Right. I'm doing it now.
You come from an environment where you're having to adjust to people that don't come from your environment that still want a piece of you. This is how you deal. I'm from the south side of the shop, bro. This is how you deal with that. In the league, folks talking shit. You know, I got a tendency to say some pretty wild shit to these folks. D Rose would be like, nah, you know, this how you do it, or D Rose.
I ain't gonna lie, I like that part. Don't stop the shit talk.
No, don't stop the shit talk. Just the super wild part.
Say that shit. Say that, bro. I just saw. I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna cut you out. I just want to say this about that. I just saw a clip where Michael Jordan bumped into Larry Bird in the hallway, not in the hallway, in like the tunnel or the back in the park, the garage of the arena, and it was so cordial, you know. Hey, what's up, man? On camera, right? But when you lean, when they did the little, you know, like the what's up, man? You know, you do this. Michael Jordan said, "Fuck you, bitch ass," and walked out. You heard it plain as day. They even put, you know what I'm saying, plain as day. So
I'm sure that's how they played back then. They was
But that's
on their time though.
Jordan talked to everybody like
But
that.
Bird walk in the locker room and throw a towel in folks' face and who coming in second place.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
was different like that.
That's what I'm saying.
These
though.
sensitive ass. Come on. Man.
Yeah, true that.
This is a sensitive league.
But guess what though? He making guys go back to it because I say this. If it wasn't for Ja, it wouldn't even be no trash talking in the league. Wasn't nobody talking trash in the league until Ja Morant came in the league, bro. They had not saying he the first. I'm saying he the one that sparked it back up in this era. Facts, bro. Wasn't nobody talking like that on the court. If they did, it was very subtle. We weren't finding out about it. Ja actually came and created that buzz to where teams got cocky, started talking, started putting fusing. You didn't see guys making fancy plays. Like a great example, DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray's game was as basic and cut and square as he can get. The moment Ja Morant came to the league and he saw that Ja was influxing his personality into his game, he played the way he is, his personality. You could tell that's who he is on the court. It matches the personality. When he saw that, DeJounte, that's when you start seeing DeJounte tapping guys on the head, throwing the ball off their face, and you know what I'm saying, doing all the flat.
That is the fuck out of there too.
And that's and around that same time. But the point was, and getting back, and I didn't mean to cut you off because you was in the middle of what you were saying. I feel like Ja helped change the game and make the game even more entertaining like it was before. Because when you shit talking and trash talking, there goes the passion now. Now you're gonna want the guys want to play defense when they get the shit talking because they don't want to let you score because you talking shit. So now it incorporates. To me, when I talk shit, mentally, when I talk shit, it's the boost. It really is for me. Because now I got to live up to whatever shit I'm talking. I got to live up to this shit. And I feel like when Ja did that, it made the whole game. And now you see it with the AAU and everything else.
Look, with D-Rose coming back, it's so much he can teach dudes. It's so much he can say. It's so much he can say to that whole team. I mean, he could tell Jaren Jackson about how Joe Kim Noah can actually set a screen.
You know, they played together their rookie year.
Who?
Joe Kim and Jaren.
I don't know if Joe Kim was mentally there. But yeah, I don't think he was mentally still in the NBA. I think his body was.
But Jaren do credit him for his defensive prowess in terms of learning a lot of stuff in terms of physicality and stuff.
I don't know that. I ain't saying that. I'm saying like as far as a screen. Look, make no mistake about it. With Jaren Jackson Jr., everybody else want all this wild shit and all these new players. I just want him to set a screen. That's pretty much.
And box out and rebound.
I don't even give a shit if he do that.
I feel like he do because this is why it's important for me. He can create a lot more opportunities for himself in terms of scoring that he don't have to slow the offense down for if he becomes a better rebounder. And on defense, that will allow our perimeter guys to be able to play a level of defense knowing, hey, he can crash the board. I ain't got to do that. I can get back and play defense. Guys won't be responsible for the rebounding because he ain't the rebounder. So where now they can play a little more defense and they don't get killed on defense. So like you got Ja averaging 6-7 rebounds in the playoffs. And then people say he don't play defense. You got to choose. She got to crash the board. You can't get back and crash the board. And your big man ain't doing it. He averaging 5. He's averaging the same amount of rebounds as you. It's 5 or 6 a game. Shit, you got to make up for that. So I do feel like with Jaren, the rebound is very important, bro, because it'll help guys on the other end. Guys can play defense and actually be held accountable for defense and not have the excuse.
My whole thing is this, bro, with Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm not expecting leaps and bounds year by year. I'm expecting incremental gains. But I don't think he. I don't think he that type of player.
But for me, and that might be true, and I'll say this for on the record: if Jaren caps out at what he is today, he will go down as a very damn good player, regardless. If he caps out at what he is today, he's still worth a number 4 pick. The last number 4 pick that we had, I don't agree with that. So for him to be able to live up to that, that says a lot. Because most guys that get drafted number 4 or whatever top 5 don't live up to the billing. So he's already justified that pick, and he's far outplaying that contract. So I can't say that. But in terms of what you said, the leaps and bounds argument, if they want to win a championship, Dude, it's year 6. How many more small steps you got to take before you finally take a big one?
I think based on the age of most people that win rings,
because he averaging the same amount of points he averaged his second year in the league.
I think based on the average age people are when they finally start winning, I think all three of them are already ahead of their curve. Already ahead of that age curve as far as where they is. So I'm not, the reason I say incremental is because, okay, let's say he get better at screening this year. Okay, then next year, post game. That's it. That's really it. Like, because in my personal opinion, I don't think he ever played center in the NBA from the first game to the 82nd. I think if that happens, that's absolute worst case scenario, and you finna get your ass kicked in the paint. That's just my personal opinion on rebound. It's just some people ain't got that type of dog in them. When you listen to Dennis Rodman talk, when you go listen to Moses Malone, if you go look at these people, West and go look at the people that kill on the board.
Kevin Garnett,
listen to Charles Barkley talk.
Jay Boog, they said that he could beat Kevin Garnett. I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, if you just listen to the people that go kick people ass on the glass, there's nothing in Jaren that reminds you of these people.
There's a different level of oomph in the way they speak.
Yeah, so that's why I don't even think of that conversation, because it just don't make sense, because I don't see no likenesses to what I've seen do it before successfully. When I see D Rose, I'm seeing somebody that can come in and he knows the game. He knows the game well enough to get people to play to their strengths or develop the weaknesses they can develop. Sometimes it makes no sense to talk to somebody about a certain weakness, because some weaknesses are forever. There's no improvement in some weaknesses with certain people in certain facets of life. It's impossible.
But I think it's still good to talk about it, because sometimes you can't necessarily improve it, but the conversation can lead to you finding a way to compensate.
Yeah, you get a coping mechanism. You can get something to
or not even a coping mechanism, a way to balance it out. There's a compensation for it in another way. So,
I mean, it's sure, but if you watch tape from a night before, you don't need nobody to tell you that. Right. You see, you get your ass kicked in one way or another. Right. Like, you see that. So, if you're that clueless, fuck, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're that lost. I just think D Rose coming here is it's a blessing in a lot of ways, man, because every single way now Ja can walk in somebody else's steps and he doesn't have to stick his chest out as much. Somebody else is already taking those shots to the chest. They already taking those blows. He don't got to take as many anymore. Now he can get walked through. Now when the press want to talk to him, let Rose sit up there with him. He the calmest person ever. He was so calm of a superstar, he didn't even get superstar calls.
That's how calm he was. The dance and the All-Star introduction.
Yeah, so I mean that would help. That's it. A lot of people out there in viewer land, that even non-Grizzly fans are like, I hate they dancing, da da da. Well, now you got a personality to somebody who just stood pat like this here and just look.
He's everything we want.
Yeah, so he everything a lot of people wanted. Not everybody wanted it, but a lot of people did.
The ball knowers wanted. He's everything the ball knowers.
Yeah, I was completely indifferent to their dance until they did that Antonio Brown dance. And then I was like, y'all need to cut that shit.
I ain't gonna lie, I loved it because I love to put this shit
I wanted them to cut the screen off for 15 seconds.
I like that one. So, all the other ones, I was like, that shit corny as hell.
I think that, with this team, man, they brought in the right two guys. And Kleiman did his thing. And Derrick Rose gonna do his thing here, man. To me, it's no relationship to patch up with the city of Memphis, because the salty motherfuckers gonna stay salty, and ain't nothing you can do to dilute all of the extra seasoning they putting on a situation that already tasted good enough as is. So to hell with them. Don't try to appease these people, because there is no pleasing them. I know people like that, and I tell them fuck you to their face. I'm not trying to say I'm just being honest. Some people you just gotta be that way with, because it's nothing else you can do with them. You just gotta carry on. And for D Rose coming here, I love it for Ja, man. This is a young point guard who gets to talk to another guy that's been an MVP, who has had his family involved in his career heavily. His brother Reggie was involved in his career heavily.
So Reggie is just far more
his family
polished in the business sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, from the shot.
Right.
So you're gonna get more experience. But his family's been involved, your family involved. So now he get that perfect vet to mentor him. Because Ja never had a vet to mentor him. I remember on 2K a couple years ago, if you played franchise mode, they had the when you match the rookie up with the vet to mentor him. and that helps along in their development. That was years ago because that's the last time I played 2K, but that's important in real life. You need mentorship in real life to help you along the way. And who better than somebody that's exceeded the heights that you're already at? Rose has already been hired. He's where Josh trying to get MVP, gold medalist, right? Like a lot of different things. He can show Josh how to get that call from Team USA. Those milestones he needs to meet, you know. And it's not like you already didn't have a point guard in the city that had reached high heights, but that wasn't the guy that John needed to talk to. Rose is that guy, and like that was somebody he did. So with Marcus Smart, you get the guy on the court that's going to make that difference defensively. This is a guy that can.
You got the energy guy. He's gonna be the leadership in terms of the energy.
And with Marcus Smart, and to me, this just makes a difference. With Marcus Smart and Steven Adams on that court together, what you're gonna have is two anchors. Now I know Jaren is the anchor of the defense, but I mean as far as the discipline part, those are two disciplined people. I'm very big on discipline. I always said last year, David Roddy was our most disciplined defender on the perimeter because he was. He wasn't the best, but he was the most disciplined.
But I ain't gonna lie though, Smart slipped defensively this year, and that's what a lot of people didn't like what I was saying on Twitter about Marcus Smart. Folks was mad because I was like, "Hey, Marcus Smart, career-wise, Dylan Brooks is more efficient. He's a more efficient three-point shooter, more efficient on the field." Just more efficient, scores more points. But this past season, which was Dylan's worst season, everybody want to compare Dylan's worst season to Marcus Smart's best offensive season, which, keep in mind, Dylan is younger than Smart. But the point is, with Marcus Smart, his offense evolved, but the defense took a step back. But it was because of the injuries, not because of the offense. The hip injury slowed him down all year. He did play for 61 games this year. Then when he did play, he got cooked a lot this year. His defensive rating shot up to like 113 or something. So he got cooked a lot this year. It was a lot of the reason why they struggled defensively. Boston did most of the season because he was their identity defensively, right? And Bob was already out too. So when Bob was out, they really got him exposed. You had the injury hurting him as far as the hip injury slowed down his lateral ability to keep up with guys on the perimeter. And then on top of it, your guy that's usually there if you can't do something, Bob's there to clean it up. Bob was out. So he took a step back a lot this year, big step. And that's what people didn't understand with what I was saying. Like, people were like, well, what about Jalen McDaniels? He's an elite defender, but he didn't make the all-NBA defense this year or all-defense team. Well, Jalen McDaniels wasn't the defensive player of the year, and he wasn't the defensive player of the year just last season either. Marcus Smart went from being defensive player of the year this previous season to being not even making an all-defense team at all this year.
Yeah, teammate did actually, Derek White.
Exactly. So, that was my next point on there. Derek White made the spot instead of you. So to me, that's a big drop. People don't realize that. You're looking at it like, I'm looking at the fact you went from defensive player of the year and the resume. Usually in the NBA, once you establish a certain resume or a certain reputation, they'll give you the next year. If you was a hell of an all-star for a certain amount of years, they'll give you that next year if you drop off that next year, even though you weren't necessarily. So they did it with Clay. They do it with everybody. T-Mac, anybody. Anybody that's been elite at something, even the all-defensive spots. There was years where Kobe had been slipping. They gave it to him anyway an extra year. The moment you went from DPOY to all the way not even making an all-defensive team, period. I mean, you fell out of the top 10 of the and you didn't even make one of the honorable mention spots. So that tells me also that the league, the consensus around the league is that you have lost a couple steps defensively. If you ask me, what do you think of it?
I just think Boston didn't give a damn about defense like they did the year before. And that's why they didn't make that's why they didn't beat who they were supposed to beat, because they didn't put the team didn't put Boston. To me, Their team defense is what does.
Wow.
That's what they like. The Grizzlies hung their head on two really good individual defenders, and Adams being able to physically hold his own against the bigger centers. That's what the thing. Dylan gonna body up. Jared finna deter the shots, and Adams is gonna make sure you don't bully nobody. That's what we did. The Boston Celtics defense was based on Jaylen Brown cover a lot of ground. Jason Tatum cover a lot. Hell, that's why John really had a hard time against them. It's because them two would switch out on him. It wasn't smart.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at the Celtics, and then Robert Williams, and then of course Al Horford is more than serviceable, even though he ain't got no lateral quickness. His foot placement and where he is, like they just have a sound defensive team 1 through 8 or whatever, right? The Grizzlies, that's not the case.
You see, this is the only thing I say about that, though. Yeah, you can make that argument, but you also got to factor in the hip injury.
Yeah, I mean, he played hurt. It's no, ain't no escaping that.
So we didn't see we didn't ever see you recover. That's what my point is. The hip injury can still, like, regardless of what we think about the theoretical aspect of it, the reality is the hip injury still lingers. It's still an issue.
Got 5 months to recover.
So
he didn't play in June.
So that's what we got. So to me, you gotta, because you fell off. And that's not me just saying it, the league said it, because you went from DPOY 1 year to the very next year, you did not even make an all defense team period. And you're a likable guy. You're not one of those guys where people don't like you and couldn't wait till you fall off because they weren't gonna give you a vote. You're a likable guy. And you played for the Celtics. For you to go from DPOY to not making all defense team and considering the hip injury.
Well, that's why.
That's my point.
Okay,
so it's bigger than that's my point though. It's bigger than just what Boston had in mind as far as prioritizing offense or defense, the hip injury. So we gotta see. That's what I was trying to make the point to Grizz Twitter. Y'all motherfuckers better hope the hip injury is gonna come.
I'm pretty sure the Grizz medical staff.
That one, are you pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure.
The Grizzlies medical staff. Did you really just say that? The same medical staff that can't tell us what the fuck happened to Steven Adams.
Hold on.
He went from a sore knee to being out half of the season.
It's a difference between
all playoffs. It's the same that botched Jaren's injury, where he had to actually go back in last year and do the procedure again. The same.
Well, that's the surgery.
Chandler Parsons, even that though, still though, even with
hold on. Chandler Parsons' knees was cooked before he ever got hurt.
I agree. The fact that y'all even signed off on
it was a remedial.
Even though Michael Conley was the one who forced them to do that.
It don't. Hey, all I know
but the point is,
the regime that's here now had nothing to do.
Ain't that the same training squad? I mean, same medical.
I seriously doubt it. They brought him in here. I doubt it.
Because I don't think they changed the background. I think they just changed the front guys, which would be the coaches.
Well, if somebody forced it, that means it didn't matter what the medical stuff came back. That player was gonna force it anyway, right?
Yeah, but,
so it don't matter.
But you should. Hey, I wouldn't have signed off on it. But even in general, that's one guy. That's one detail in the entire premise. That's one detail.
I think this team, the front office, the PR staff, all of them, they got a clandestine way of dealing with things. They not finna tell nobody what they do.
It ain't even about revealing the information. It's just the way. It's to me the inability to keep guys healthy. Everybody has injury problems. That's why they see everybody always make the argument they don't never play together. They haven't played together because they always hurt. Everybody gets hurt. Bane got hurt. Jared got hurt. Ja gets hurt every year. Who else got hurt? Brandon Clark got hurt. Steven Adams got hurt. Zaire Williams dealing with tendonitis right now. He can't play in summer league. There's always issues of injuries with these guys. That's why they never fucking play together. And I ain't trying to make it like I'm smart. It's common fucking sense. I don't see how it's common sense. They
never had the same issue, Brandon.
And that's why hey, do we want to report it?
The injury bug is the injury bug. You know, Jordan could have easily re-aggravated his foot injury in 88 season, late in the season. He shouldn't have came back. Dude was super blessed. He should have never came back with the foot injury he had. So look, with injuries, this is what I feel about injuries, and I'll say this forever. So
Jordan was a psycho. So
injuries are a goddamn crapshoot. You never know. And getting older, I realized waking up 6 months ago with plantar fasciitis and still having plantar fasciitis. Injury hit you, it is what it is. I just got out of bed, put my foot
How did
down,
you
and
get that shit?
streamed.
I'm bigger than you, and ain't got.
I got a flat ass foot. Same
I do
reason.
too. I got flat foot. I don't know what. Yeah.
Well, brother, I hope it don't hit you because you gonna be in
I still got
tears.
time, right?
Hell yeah, don't jinx yourself. Cause that shit will sit you in bed for weeks. For real, it'll sit you in bed for. I remember Manu Ginobili called head. No, Tony Parker called hell with that shit. It will sit you down where you can't move. Not to deviate too far.
Eddie George.
Yeah, it'll sit you down, man. So everybody thought Eddie George was soft. You can't play through that shit. I'm telling you that right now.
And then people who said that he was getting over 300 carries a season. No, that's a whole other topic. Still 300 carries a season battling this shit. That is and back then they weren't playing nickel and dime defense. They were playing 4-4-4, 6-4-3 was the smallest. Nigga was 8-9 niggas in the box every snap.
They shot him up with dope like a
man, salute Eddie George, man, because you was and you never missed a game. That's what people don't realize about Eddie. The boy didn't miss a game. The main, because he deserved that respect. The main did not miss a game.
Shout out
the
to
whole
George
nine
up there at
seasons.
TSU, but we're gonna get back on
Yeah,
this.
but back to it. And next topic. And hold on. Nah, we gonna do that because it's a sports show. So we good on it. We good. At the end of the day, we talk football, we talk whatever. But on to the next topic, as you did say, we were rightfully so. Bane's extension at $207 million fucking dollars.
Shout out to him, man.
Oh yeah, get your money.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to his agent. Shout out to his people.
5-year deal. He getting 207. He's 25. He averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4.4 assists last year, while shooting 41% from 3 and 45% from the field. With a toe that was split in two. No. At 25, I'm taking that contract all day with the way the money finna go up, because 40 is the new 20. 40 is the new 20 in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if the NBA gonna be able to afford these rates.
Have you seen the space ESPN is carving out so they can try to bid against NBC? Oh, they're gonna afford it. Right. Oh, that TV deal gonna be high. That TV deal gonna be higher than Method Man and Redman and High Part 3. It's gonna be high. It's gonna be higher than Method Man, Redman, and Cheech and Chong in a group movie. That's how high the TV money gonna be. It's probably gonna be 50 to 70 billion, something like that, for the new deal.
So it's gonna be half big high.
Yeah. I need a backy out of me. It's gonna be that goddamn how a squirrel man gotta protect people. So with that said, man, Bane deserve every dime because 40 is the new 20. Hell, if the TV money is high enough and the revenue keep going up the way it is internationally, 40 might be the new 15. Especially with inflation being the way it is too. Shit, 40 is the new 15 now anyway. So they gave him a great contract, man. It's people looking at it wrong. When you start talking about contracts, half of talking about contracts ain't got shit to do with on-court production. It's got to do with economics. And people don't understand the economics of it. As the contracts get higher, the league has negotiated with the players union that the players get 51% every year. And if a team doesn't come within 90% of the cap floor, then that 10% must be divvied out to the players. Mm-hmm. So the owners, if they don't spend, let's say the cap 150, and they don't spend 140, if they don't spend 140 or whatever the 90% is, right? They got to take that money out of that ain't spent and split it to all the players. So if 5 teams miss the floor, shit, the players got a hell of a bonus coming. And if I'm your boss, I'm not trying to make your bonus my punishment.
Right, free money.
Yeah, so it's like they doing what's right. Like I'm gonna pay another person to come in here and work. So they doing what's right, man. You got to fill in the blanks and you got to pay people. You know what I'm saying? So by the time the TV money hit in 2025, combined with the way the cap was already scheduled to go up about 11 million a year now anyway. So by the time 2025 season hits, the cap would have been up 22 million from now. So you'd be looking at like 160 something on an NBA cap, not NFL. So you got we got 15 players basically splitting 160. That's a lot of goddamn money, ladies and gentlemen. So when the cap
goes, it ain't gonna be though. It ain't. But if you think about it, if you got guys getting 75 million one player, and they gonna half of your cap right there.
Well,
Shit, if you
No, because by the time the 75 hit, the TV money
went up more. Yeah.
So
I mean, but now that's where they'll be at by then. But then it'll probably go up even more.
It'll always balance out. It's meant to.
But not necessarily, because if you look at it, you got guys. That was the big issue with the players, with LeBron and them. That's what was the pushback from the role players, the lower tier players in the league's pushback was when this TV money. That was an issue that was raised. That when this TV money increased, even with the TV money increasing, the new CBA allows for the superstars to get most of the salary to where
I'm still 30%. They can get 30%.
Right, absolutely. But you got to consider this too, though. After you got two guys on the team making 75, 60, 75 million.
That has nothing to do with the play. That has nothing to do with the best players. That has everything to do with the owners.
I agree totally, but then no, it was the players because it was LeBron and them who pushed for that.
What, for the 30%?
Yeah.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong with that, but it also, if you're an elite player, if you're not an elite player, if you're not a one or a two option,
then you go to another team that can pay you what you worth, and you let them, like Miami had to suffer.
But that's gonna be the case if you look at it. That's gonna be the case all across the league. Who's gonna be available for you to have that money if everybody got to pay their top two options 60 to 75?
Because this is the thing. With let's say Halliburton contract now, right? In 5 years, Halliburton contract is not gonna be a top 10 contract in the NBA. It's not.
Yeah, of course not.
Then that's my point. It's like by the time that money go up, you got to think it's not the total amount; it's the percentage of the
gap. But even with him not necessarily being, you said about how long? Hold on, how long?
In 5 years.
5 years.
He just signed.
He got 5 years. Will still be top 10 with that money. But even if he's not, so. Even if let's say he's not. If you got 2 or 3 guys on your team making Halliburton money, no money. Yes, they are, because that's the case with the Grizzlies. If Jared hadn't signed that move early and waited and signed his money this summer, then we would have.
He couldn't have signed this summer.
Or next summer. Would have been last summer.
No, it would have been last summer.
Yeah, last summer. So if he had waited that extra year and signed that contract last summer, then
he read up at the end of his 3rd year.
Or if he would, okay, so let's say this then. I'll say this: if he had a wait till he unrestricted free agents, which would have
unrestricted, I don't think he would have done that.
But he could have. It's because the guys who do that, they'll not sign.
Those are the guys that the team ain't trying to give the maximum to.
I don't think that's the point. I'm questioning whether or not certain guys should be getting that much, because how much is gonna have for the rest of the salary cap.
Now the reason Jerry shouldn't have tried that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Say you bet on yourself. Let's say an injury happened and you don't make that all defensive team. You don't get that defensive.
He's still worth 100 million, 120, 130.
Nah, he would have just got 100 because you got to remember something. He'd have had an injury.
He would have still even,
and he wouldn't have made a team. You need certain accolades just to get in a certain bracket.
Right.
You
be eligible for certain money. But he didn't really make those brackets anyway, so he didn't.
He just did. But if he had a bet on himself and got injured, he wouldn't have done it.
Right, but he didn't get injured. The reality is
okay, but that should have would have if. No, if was a fifth.
Yeah, I mean, but I can say that about that premise too, because the reality is, if he would have got hurt, was not the reality. The reality is he did get hurt. So if he didn't want money, which is my original point.
Him, his mom, and his dad, and his family said,
"We're not going to take that chance." Now, but hey, man, because you stayed hurt. If you had took that chance, you would be getting 260 probably. Or you at least got 207. So you would have got double what you got.
He would have been last year, so he'd have got what Jock got,
which is 207. He would have got the whole. He would have got the whole 200.
But with the money Bane got and the money they giving guys in the league, the percentage is just gonna go up because ESPN is gonna have to battle NBC and probably CBS coming up because people smell blood in the water with Disney. Period. So that's why they just clean house. They're trying to free up bread because you got to remember this parent company has so many other things.
They must be really not making money for them to be penny pitching analyst money. Like I don't think so.
I think it's they just
100,000 for this guy.
I think they just know, but you got to remember how many other executives they fire. You got to think of how many other people doing the Marvel movies as technology get better and AI get better. You need less and less people to design.
That what reality is, and then also they don't need guys that ain't making, they're not generating engagement. That's one thing about it. ESPN, that's a lot of things like people were questioning about Perkins. Why did they keep Perkins? The same reason you fucking mentioned why they should fire Kendrick Perkins is the reason why they kept him.
Because y'all keep saying his name.
It creates fucking engagement. That's that simple. Like the guy that you like, you don't tune to watch him. That's just the reality. Motherfuckers will watch a Kendrick Perkins video on Twitter just because you don't like him. You'll watch the video. Just so you can not like him even more. He can validate whatever that is. But guess what? The fact that you needed to watch that video to validate you that you don't like him or that he's dumb in your mind or whatever the fuck you want to think, that's why they can't let him go. That's why they have to tell Vince, hey man, we gotta holler at you. Because guess what? People like you. And if they like you, they generally don't keep you. People don't like Stephen A. Smith. People don't like Skip. This is the reality.
But they in your face and they online. Like, for instance, to me, the only person that they fired that I'm like, wow, is Jeff Van Gundy. But you got to remember something. Jeff Van Gundy is extremely old school. He's not on Twitter. He's not on these platforms like that. So he doesn't draw the engagement. And ultimately, those are the metrics that these companies are using going forward.
Carry the hell on.
So that's why they do what they do in that way. Now, me personally, I watch games on mute. If I don't see Hubie Brown, I don't listen because him and Dr. Jack Ramsey were two of the only people I really listen to call games. I don't really listen to other people. Mark Jackson.
I like Jeff.
I like Mark and Jeff. But for the most part, when they do the B team, the C team, the D team calling games, I don't listen. Like if it's not Mark and Jeff and Mike, I don't want to hear nobody else ESPN. Now, Doris Burke a little bit.
I ain't gonna lie, I know. Doris bored too.
And absolutely nobody on TNT. I don't listen to none.
What's his name? Jones? Mark Jones. I like Mark. I like Mark Jones. I like Mark. Mark is very informative and entertaining. I like that about him. But you pretty much right though. I mean, outside of them, I personally don't watch the games with the music. I like to watch the games with my music playing. So I listen to some music in the background while the games play. I'll listen to Reverend. Or I listen to Pete Predica.
I listen to the Grizzlies. I listen to them.
And I ain't saying it because they're the Grizzlies. I don't give a fuck about that or because politics and all that. I ain't gonna throw my hands up because if you weren't good, fuck you too. Just to be honest with you. But they just don't happen to be good. So I give them that. I do listen to them for that reason. Me personally, I'm with you on that. I don't really watch I don't watch the games for the commentary either. Unless I want to get a feel of what players are saying to each other in communication. Like if I change my settings so I can listen to the players more than where I'm listening to them more so than the commentary.
I grew up off the Marv Albert and them guys, so I'm so used to. I miss those things. I guess you call me I never thought I'd be this person, but I'm a beast for nostalgia. In that way, I miss that, and I miss with TNT with Craig Sager, rested. So like I love Craig Sager. They need to win. I hope they win. Listen, I hope they win the beer, baby. Bring it back.
Hey, we right here, baby. Hey, we'll bring it back.
Hey, you were gonna see a show, baby.
Saturday mornings. What?
Inside the NBA with a
what?
Yeah.
Bring that back. I remember when the Grizzlies used to show some games, like 2 or 3 games a season on Channel 5 and shit.
Well, a lot of teams are actually going back to that. Like the Jazz doing that.
Because Valley Sports is terrible. I'm sorry. Fuck you.
Well, they filed bankruptcy, so it's obvious.
I mean, but even before them, Fox Sports' production was terrible. It's terribly, the editing and the production of it is god-awful. And y'all run through the same old recycle of commentators. Thank God y'all was so lucky y'all did get Pete and Reverend, 2 guys that actually can, that bring something to this shit.
They actually dope. But I think a lot of these casts are gonna go local. I think a lot. I think.
You think the teams? I'm gonna tell you what I think. It's gonna be more evolution of a grass city media type.
Yeah, it makes more sense for the teams themselves to just partner with local. Like for instance, okay, Bally might not be able to do as good a deal as WMC would Channel 5, right? Okay, for instance, WMC, they can basically get played in the Boo Hill of Missouri, Western Kentucky, Western Tennessee. They can get covered in Jackson. They can do that because they got sister stations.
Oh, right.
So it makes more sense. You can team with your sister station. You got to remember.
I ain't never thought about it.
NBC got sister stations. Fox got sister stations. CBS got sister stations. So all of these people got sister stations. So you could team up all the way to Little Rock and get Memphis covered. Or Jonesboro. You can do that instead of doing a cable page. You can just say, hey, this going to be the broadcast here. And then you go like that. And that's a lot better business model than going with some company with some app. Exactly. And another thing that's going to do, look, pirating is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you got an iPhone, Apple is a little bit harder to pirate shit. But if you're fucking with an Android or Microsoft system, it's pretty goddamn easy with Windows and Android to watch whatever game. You can go watch Australian cricket, I promise you, in HD. So with the sister station thing, you don't need nobody to pirate that. Can't just go to the house in Helena, Arkansas and watch the Grizzlies. And if you don't believe that them numbers add up, rural communities add up. If you don't believe it, like the numbers will add up, and it'll give them a better feel. You'll get more involvement from local people or tri-state area wanting to advertise. You boost the economy where you're at instead of just seeing the same old repeated commercials from the same people. Like you can get a lot better involvement and engagement. You can do way better giveaways because it's in people's face every day. People will be more involved if you localize the process. The people that have the money now are the people that grew up off of that NBC. We grew up off of that. We're grown now. So for us, we want that feel back
we ready to spend
of cutting those things on and seeing that local newscast coming on right after that. People don't want to have to go through cable anymore for what they want. It's going to be either streaming or local. That's the future, ladies and gentlemen, and cable knows it. So ultimately,
I'm so glad the cable era is over for me. I cut that cord out. I never had it.
And that's the point. It's like go local, team up with your sister stations. And this is for anybody listening. You can bite off this idea, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mind you executives. Just at least make a footnote that the little black dude from Memphis, Tennessee said this to you.
Well, everybody say, man.
Yes, everybody say, man. And you get Big Ed to sit at the table and negotiate because I ain't got the patience for y'all like that. But he'll put up with you. And I'm telling y'all what to do. This is what's going to work. This is what's going to make it happen. And the Jazz, shout out to them, and the Phoenix Suns. These are the first two teams I heard about doing it like that. And the reason
I didn't even heard, but that is such a great idea. I'm so glad you. My bad. I'm listening.
Well, the reason Phoenix is gonna do it is the dude is just so fucking loaded that it just makes sense for him. And then Phoenix also has one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the country.
Everything.
Running out of water, but hey, you can drink vodka, you drink tequila, so you're good. But that's what it's going to, and that's what people want, man. And if you do that, and you can still keep the national schedule. Because I will pay to see Charles and Shaq them. I give you.
Yeah, I love watching them.
Yeah, I give you $2.50 a month. They break that. I give you $2.50 a month to keep TNT. I would just for them.
Gotcha.
You can just charge me $2.50 for TNT a month. I'll pay you $2.50 a month just for Kenny, Charles, Ernie, and Shaq. I would do that. Now for ESPN, I'm not paying to listen to Michael Wilbon and them. I'm not. No disrespect to them guys, but y'all boring as hell. They could have cleaned that whole crew out. And came
why? Y'all talking about somebody that want to fire that don't make sense to keep. Michael Wilbur, like, dude, his name don't even come up. It barely comes up that day. Like, he don't even generate engagement. He don't even say shit. But I know why. He got a hell of an agent. He got relationships. Yeah, because he's Jordan boy. It's like a Jordan boy too.
Well, he was a lot of guys' guy.
Yeah, that was their guy.
And to be honest, if you read his pieces, he's a great journalist in that regard. He's just not a good on-air personality. That's what I mean. Like, he's an excellent journalist.
And he's a company man. That's why I'm like, his views just everything's company man. Like, he has no, but anyway.
Yeah.
Anheusen was better than me. But yeah, man. Cornhouse. I said Anheusen.
Good. She thinking about Bush Beer.
Right. Don't get a headache. I just had a headache thinking about Bush Beer. But yeah, man. So last topic of the day is gonna be on the Grizzlies summer league situation, the summer league roster. Funny that we mentioned it. The Grizzlies made a trade yesterday when they did the sign and trade for Dylan Brooks, the $80 million over 4 years. In order for their trade to get pulled off, they were able to generate an $18 million trade exception from Houston to pull their trade off. So instead of getting a first round pick that you probably don't even want to use because you got too many young guys and you got enough picks, you were able to use that for something, that trade to generate something that's even more valuable than the first round pick, that $18 million trade exception. And what the whole point of me mentioning that is because in that trade exception deal with Dylan Brooks, the one player that the Houston Rockets did send us back was Josh Christopher. I don't know if Josh gonna play on the summer league team this year. He's probably not because he's so proven in the G League and he's actually proven in the NBA. It makes no sense for him to play in the summer league. Maybe he does, but I don't see why. They don't have a point guard, so maybe they'll send him down there and play the point. But I highly, highly doubt there's no reason to send Josh Christopher to the summer league. But they did pick him up. I don't know if you saw the video of Josh Christopher and Jalen Green.
Listen, somebody on the internet said we traded the top for a bottom.
Yo, boys.
Man.
Them boys getting booty in the dorm room.
Hey, man.
Hey,
man, say, man.
Yo. I know they saying pause is becoming a countable word, but until it does, if there was ever a pause, nigga, pause.
He pressed fast forward, bro.
Yeah.
He pressed fast forward in slow motion.
Pause. Stop. Cut the power off.
Yo,
niggas was getting booty.
That was intense.
Yo, I ain't like whatever you do, man. You ain't on trial though. We don't judge you. But hey, it was noted. It was noted. But anyway, with Josh Christopher, never mind the fact outside of niggas giving up some booty in a hunch. Definitely a hooper. Gotta give him this. So I don't give a damn what you do. You a hooper, baby. That's all I care about. Hey man, you show up, show out. You all right with me, baby. I don't care what nobody say. And I'll be right there with you on the front line. Somebody fuck with you. So you all right with me. I like the guy. He a hooper, bro. Bottom line. This is the guy the Grizzlies were interested in before the draft that he got drafted, which is 2021. The Grizzlies, Ja wanted him because that's one of Ja's buddies. So, and from what shout out to Isaac Rivals and at those Grizzlies podcasts and everything. Isaac was the one who mentioned it out, or who tweeted it out. So I got this information from him that Josh Christopher is actually Tayshaun Prince's godson. Okay. So there's a connection in terms of the relationship with not just Ja. He's not only just Ja's buddy, but he's also Tayshaun Prince's godson. So there's somebody here who that development is, there's going to be some continuity in terms of his development and his relationship. So that's great. And bottom line, he a hooper, bro. Kid averaged like 25 points, 5 rebounds, and over 6 assists a game in the G League last season. He averaged like 7 or 8 points a game in the regular season of the NBA last season, only playing like 12 minutes a game type shit. Like he was going out there and get straight to the money. The games that he played over 22 minutes per game, he averaged 17 points, I think, 3 assists and 3 rebounds, shooting at like 37% from the three, like 47% from the field. So this, for your analytics guys that are still big on per 36, he a per 36 monster. So that's the good thing about the kid. Comes in, can play 1 through 2 for sure. The 3, he's got the size for that because he's about 6'4", 6'5". So maybe he can play that in spurts, depending on the lineups. But that's somebody. The reason why I mentioned him in the summer league discussion is because they might just decide to come to the summer league so that he can get some more mojo playing the point and get some continuity going with the guys that he probably be playing with. But I don't see him being in the G League this year. But the only thing about it, with them having D Rose, it's only going to be so many minutes. But the first 25, it will, so that might add out. But in terms of the summer league roster, how do you feel about it? What's your take on it?
Very simple summer league goal for me.
What's that?
Thinking about the end of it, because the summer league is ultimately a means to an end.
So it's not just GG.
We got 4 wings. 4 prospect wings. One of them got to average 10 points a game this season. I don't give a fuck which one of them it is. One of y'all got to do it. Somebody got to do it.
10,000%.
Hey man, listen.
I know what you're talking about.
Have you ever seen a situation? Y'all remember in the Batman joint with Heath Ledger when he broke the pool stick, threw it down, said somebody got to go. I'm gonna let y'all choose who. That's the way I feel. Look, man, it's 4 young cats. Hopefully, they all know they want to feed their family for a very long time. As I always say, they are playing for their basketball lives. If I see a guy next to me, it's cool. We got the same jersey on, but I know it's an open starting spot for the Memphis Grizzlies at the 3. It's an open starting spot for the long haul. It's a starting spot at the 3 for the Memphis Grizzlies.
I almost fell out of my seat.
It's a starting spot at the 3. Like I said, look, man. I'm being realistically honest.
He's right.
For the long term, all 4 of y'all on even ground. All one of y'all got to do. It's just like if you're in the forest getting chased by a bear. If it's 8 of us, I don't have to be the fastest person out the 8. I just don't have to be number 8. That's the only thing. I don't want to be number 8.
All you be, I might, if it come down to it, I'm push one of you motherfuckers on the ground.
But you know, it's the truth of the matter. You don't even have to be the first because they don't even have a second person for small forward. You can be one of the top 2.
The same amount of minutes.
You can split it 24-24. I mean, the position is wide open, like for the future. For all the people that's finna watch this and say, I don't care about none of this shit. I said for the future. So
the reality is there is no real set small forward. I mean, is it even proven that Marcus Smart can play the small? Has he ever played small forward before? So you're gonna ask him to play small forward potentially full time. He's never done it before. Now the good thing is if he slowed down a step, small forward will probably be best for him. Especially the way he looked against Gabe Vincent them this year. But anyway, I think going forward, like Dad said, bro, Dad's hit right on the money, man. Ain't nobody locked in for the small forward spot. So going into the summer league this summer, you got Gigi, you got Zaire, you got Laravia, Roddy.
That's the 4.
That's the 4. And then
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna
your boy number 46 might,
that boy coming in from Texas might fuck them up.
Texas.
That young kid, I don't know his name. He's 6'6". I seen him dunking on motherfuckers and shit. He look hungry. All I'm saying is it's wide open, baby.
All right, Vince Williams. That's fine.
Because
Vince Williams is another draft prospect.
He ain't
I
that money,
ain't gonna lie. If Vince come in hungry, that's a question because I noticed that about Vince. I ain't gonna lie, that was still a good pick. You can't account for him not. You can't account for them to take that back. You can't account for him not being hungry. But I'm pretty sure they expect him to come in and really want to earn that spot.
Well, that's even worse. Man, it's 5 of them.
Right.
So you got 5 people fighting for 2 spots. Man, one of y'all.
Honestly, if he come in and be a dog that he's supposed to be, if he come in and understand, because Vince got to understand, if you don't perform this summer league, you're going to get cut. Because there's a spot in that 2-way that they're going to probably want to give to somebody else that they'll want to play around with. So, Vince, if you don't step up this year, you won't get that 2-way spot. You'll just be a cut second-round pick your second year. So I think, but if he does come in motivated, Vince going to beat out Laravia and Zaire, if you ask me. A motivated Vince Williams, hungry coming in, the way he played at VCU to get drafted. If you come in and remember that that's what you need to be this summer, or you going home, that's going to put more pressure. Now, politics is the only thing with the Grizzlies when it comes to them small forwards. A lot of politicking in terms of their minutes. But if it's just based on who earned it, if Vince come in hungry, he's going to take that. But that's aside from Gigi. He'll be one of those 2. Because I think it could very well, they could turn that shit upside down. The guys that were second-round picks could very well be your best 2 small forwards. And that being Gigi and Vince Williams. There's a very realistic chance of it. Of Gigi and Vince Williams being your best 2 small forwards. And if you look at the physical tools and everything else, those 2 guys really, some sleepers not to sleep on. Despite the other guys being first-round picks, the other guys being Zaire, Laravia, and Roddy all being first round picks.
I don't care who step up, somebody got to rock it. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's my stance on the whole summer league, man. It's 4 or 5 of y'all. One of y'all do something.
Somebody got to do something. And I ain't well, we know Zaire won't be in summer league. That's already established. So Zaire, I'm gonna let you know this, big bro. I'm gonna take my shades off on this one. Hey man, say man, grown man, do grown man shit, bro. You took a grown man paycheck when you decided to come into the league after your first year of Stanford. You could have stayed your little thin ass in school. Hey man, here come again another summer. They protecting you. They shielding you. They sheltering you. Hey man, say man, grown man do grown man shit, bro. This dead on it, bro. And guess what? If my money says Lil GG, if they get Lil GG the ball like they're supposed to this summer, your ass in trouble, bro. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. I hope you see this video. I hope somebody in Grizz the World get you this video. Lil homie, you need to step your shit up, bro. All they drinking water and shit. Like, go drink you some Kool-Aid, bro. Go eat you some motherfucking barbecue, some ribs, some motherfucking pork bologna. Not no beef bologna. Motherfucking pork. And put the sauce on there, too. Man, you need to man up. You need to get as much of this Memphis pimping spirit in your blood. Because when it come down, bro. I mean, your ass on the line to us this summer, bro. You, again, this summer, it's some bullshit. Last summer, they really protecting you because you didn't do good last summer in the summer league. Motherfuckers expected you to come in and show out like Bang did the year before. And you didn't do that. You didn't do shit, if you want to be quite frank. Then you come into the season and fall off. Now come this summer, all of a sudden you got tendonitis. But you were just playing in the playoffs. You played. Didn't he play in the playoffs sporadic little minutes? You got a few ticks in the playoffs. I remember playing when they got blew out, when they put Lofton on him in the court. He played their last game with Lofton. So you played, all of a sudden now you hurt. Shout out to Climbing. I'm not knocking Climbing them. One thing I do like about them, they actually care about the players. That's one thing I can say. I don't care what I feel about Zach Climbing, how I feel about I like Zach Climbing, first of all, because he's my type of GM. He's aggressive. And he's gonna go make moves that he wants to make. I like that he'll just sit on his thumb like Leon Rose does in New York. So I love that about Zach Climbing. And then one other thing I like about Zach, again, is Zach will protect his guys. You can tell Zach really cares about the guys he brings in. He cares about Ja. He cares about Jared. He cares about Zaire, Laravia, all these guys. The only guy I don't think he cared too much for was Kenneth Lofton, but I can't even say that because this is a guy that wasn't drafted, and now you've given him a roster spot. Now the players was once some push for it, but you still gave the players what they wanted. So that shows again that you care about the players because you signed the guy instead of signing the guy that you wanted because he was gonna go get a veteran. From what I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I'm hearing from my sources, we were gonna end up with Boogie towards the end of the year. Then the player said, "Nah, instead of getting Boogie, let's just go and reward Lofton because he earned it." So that's what it took for John, Jared, and Bain to come in there and say, "Hey, we want you to sign Kenneth Lofton for whatever they need, whatever that's worth." So shout out to them. The summer league roster. I don't know why Kenneth Lofton is on their roster. Shout out to Kenneth Lofton. Kudos to you for even being willing to go to the summer league again this summer. After what you did the first summer and what you did in the season when you got opportunities and what you did in the G League. So kudos to you for being willing to go down there and show your stuff again. I guess they're going to try to prepare him for a role that they want him to play in the rotation this year versus the role that he played in the G League all year. Kind of a Desmond Bain type of thing, but more of in a role player role versus the star role Bain did it. But
well, he don't got no choice.
Who?
They ain't got no choice but to play Kenneth Lofton this year.
Because of the size, they really got nobody else to play.
Brandon Clark ain't playing. He's not coming back this year.
He ain't. Oh yeah, so they don't have to play.
They don't have to play him.
Or they can play Santi in their role.
Santi, you still need 2 bigs off the bench. This the regular season. Ain't no 7-8 man rotation in the regular season, Doc.
Yeah.
People ain't
Right.
playing it. You're gonna wear your team the fuck out. You need 9 to 10 players. You truly do.
But you know what? I think I totally agree. You're not wrong at all. But I think when they do it, though, it gives them reason to do too much resting and playing guys.
They gonna do that shit anyway.
But that's the problem. When they get the playoffs, you can tell they don't have playoff moxie. They don't have that continuity.
Hey, man, the new CBA say your ass got to be out there 65 games. Jared Jackson Jr. is playing 65 games.
Right.
He's not trying to miss a team for shit. Because like you said, he's trying to get that next bag.
Right.
So these guys ain't trying to miss. They want to see he want to see one team. So the next bag he get can even be even bigger. Absolutely. Like people want to play now. It's incentivized at least to look.
Right, you ain't got like the mindset. You ain't got no fucking choice.
So it's a different game. So yes, they finna play 10 people. You finna get you gonna see Junior this year by default. You Junior Nation, you gonna see him by default, dog. Cause 15 is not coming back this year. I hope he don't, and that's not because I don't want to see him play. It's because I want to see him come back full. Don't bring the young man back prematurely.
Achilles. That's crazy.
So
I ain't never seen nobody return the same season for that.
We're gonna see a solid roster in summer league. Some guys, Kenneth Lofton probably don't need to play, but maybe he volunteered. Maybe he wants to stay fresh.
And Kenneth gonna play, but now because Josh played more minutes in the regular season these past 2 seasons, and this will be his 3rd year going into.
That kid not playing something. He might not even be here.
I don't think so.
Or unless they move.
Nah, they gonna keep him.
Okay,
they wanted him. You remember they wanted him before the draft.
Well,
and you gotta remember that's another one of those guys that the players like.
Well, maybe they move cardio.
And you gotta remember this too. He plays point guard. He played point guard in the G League last year. So they don't have a point guard.
Well, he gonna play it better than cardio did when they tried him.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say now you might be right. I'm not disagreeing as far as if he'll play summer league. I don't know. He probably won't consider it. But I think they may allow him to play that because he's gonna play a different league.
I'm gonna tell you why he won't play summer league point guard.
What?
Because they got those prospects that all gonna have to have the ball in their hand. Them dudes finna go out there.
That's why, and that makes sense.
They finna play like they're in a pro-am.
And that makes all the sense in the world. You right. That makes all the sense in the world, bro. Because they went, and why I say that is because the starting point guard is gonna be Jacob Gilliard. Jacob Gilliard is a traditional.
Yeah, he there to set the table.
There you go. Facilitate, set the table, get out their way. So you absolutely right. That may be why Kendrick, ultimately chose to go to Crumpets. I felt I tasted. But that might be why Kendrick ultimately chose to go to Golden State versus coming to Memphis, because when they probably told, hey, this is the game plan. We got guys who, we know you Kendrick Davis. We got guys we got to prioritize.
Well, Golden State also has an affinity for Penny Hardaway coach play.
Yeah, that too. But I think I'm saying, but why Davis chose to go there because he had a choice.
I mean, but I'm saying he had a choice between 2 teams, right?
Right.
It's no coincidence. It was Memphis, and the team has got an affinity for Penny Hardaway coach players.
I don't see how that would benefit him per se. I mean, other than the fact they do value.
Well, first of all, those are the 2 teams that offer.
Right.
So that benefit him, and then 2, I'd rather go over here with this team. That they just gave Lester Quinones a contract.
Right.
Like they gave him a real contract. So this is a team that has shown that they will give people coached by my former coach. They want bucket getters. Lester was killing it or something. I tell you right now, I'd take Lester right now over Zaire. But I
don't know why nobody's traded for Lester.
You can't now.
They don't want to give him up.
They don't want to give him up because they know they got a diamond in the rough. So
another Jordan Poole potential.
So when you get he less hard-headed, probably. But with Kendrick Davis, I mean, you chose the team that lets bucket getters go get buckets.
That's what I'm saying though. But that's what I was saying as far as I totally agree with you. That's what my original point was. Why he chose Golden State versus the Grizzlies. And why the Grizzlies ended up with Jacob fucking Gilliard as the point guard. They ended up with somebody that's just gonna walk up the ball. Here you go, my brother. I'll be over here if you need me in the corner type shit. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? That's honestly what the Memphis Grizzlies need.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's considering the roster that they have this summer.
And they have to prepare for the first 25 games of the regular season. Because for the first 25 games, not only are you missing Ja Morant, you're still missing Brandon Clark.
And guys are gonna have to play out of position all over because of it. Guys, there are forwards that are gonna have to put the ball on the ground. That's why there was a lot of talk about Dez up until we really got these point guards being a backup point guard option. A lot of guys, and you fixed that with that part, but you didn't quite fix it with what you mentioned with Clark being out. So I mean, guys like Laravia might have to slide over to the four a little bit, potentially. And if you can't play that or play another position, that means
I don't see how he gets any minutes at the four.
You don't think so? Because the only reason why I say that, and I think you're right. I think he's better. His best chance is at the two. If you ask me, that's the position where
he's 3.
But he can't. He don't see.
He's He's Brandon Clark. He's a one positional player.
But he can't see. But I think that one position is the two. The reason why is because he can't create shots against threes, bro. What three he getting off on?
What shot is he trying to create?
Yeah, but he's shown now. I mean, I guess you a catch and shoot guy. That's all you gonna be.
Yeah.
And you got to be pretty efficient with that. And he hasn't shown that.
Listen, man.
Because the reason why I'm saying this is because if you watch him in the G League, they had him playing. They didn't have him playing as a catch and shoot guy. They had him putting the ball on the ground.
But that's the G League.
But I would think that they're developing you in what they want you to be.
They can listen. You can put a.
Well, I get that.
You can put a crayon in an incubator.
Right.
It's not gonna grow legs and toes.
True that.
Like
So no doubt.
Shit ain't gonna
But
work.
I totally agree. What I'm saying is not as far-fetched as putting a crayon in the incubator, though. It's totally off base.
Do you think he can stay in front of any two guard in the NBA?
That's again though. There are many two guards in the league that don't. The two guard is the obvious. It's probably the worst. That's the worst position in the league defensively.
I don't think he can guard Landry Shamet. Off the dribble.
Who can at the two guard in the league today?
There's several people that can guard him.
Name, because it took you for if that was the case, you would have been
Denver, every two guard they had.
who?
Brown,
He ain't there no more.
Murray,
But he ain't even there no more.
Murray there. He
Murray
there.
but King Murray.
Shamet didn't do nothing against them folks.
I
like
will be
that.
honest with you though. Yeah, Murray gonna get off on Laravia, but he gonna get off against John too. He gonna get off against anybody.
But John ain't the two.
I mean, well, when I say that, I'm saying whoever he plays against, it could be Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain plays it too. That's gonna play the majority of minutes. It don't fucking matter.
It's
Jamal gonna get his
between go off.
And Jamal plays point guard. He doesn't play two guard, by the way. So that was even a bad comparison. By that standard.
Well, whoever playing that position, well, Brown when he was on the floor with Murray, he played more than point guard.
Who?
Brown.
Yeah,
He played more than
to a degree, but not really though, because at the end of the day, Jokic played that.
I'll take my chances with Bain or even Kennard playing D on the two. If you send him out there, a regular motherfucker's gonna hit 50.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I was at the first game of the year, season open. You played the fucking Knicks. The Knicks don't have a small forward even now. Cam fucking Reddish, like, literally saved his career against you. So small forward ain't an option either. That's my point. Bro, you couldn't do that. Small forward, you got killed at small forward. That's the worst position. And you can't defend small forward. You can't defend them, and you really can't score against them because you don't have the quickness to get away. You don't have the quickness nor the skill, nor the moxie or the toughness to create a shot against a motherfucking three in the league.
Well, let's just hope
6'9" with 6'11", the average three in the league, 6'8", 6'9", with a 7-foot wingspan. Who do you see in the league Jake Laravia can score against with some shit like that? Nobody. But guess what he could score against? A motherfucking Jamal Murray. Wanna know why? Because Jamal Murray 6'3", 6'4". There you go. So there's your best chance. You ain't doing it at the 4. Motherfuckers gonna dog him out at the 4, bro. Like you said, I agree on that. And at the 3, he got put out the league playing the 3. He got sent to the G League playing the fucking 3.
And detractors will say this because of injury, but
man, injury my ass. I watched Cam. Okay, the detractors say that. What about the first game of the season before all the injuries and shit happened? Right out the gate, you got your ass handed to. And you wasn't even start. You came off the bench, played bench minutes, and the minutes that you played against Cam Reddish were enough for Cam Reddish to save his career against you.
Here's what it is, man. Let's just hope the guy comes in a little bit more athletic than he was before.
But I will say this as far as he gonna have to step up this summer too. I'm not gonna put that all on the Ray because I'm on Zaire. Because truth be told, I would take Zaire easily over Jake LaRavia. No question about it. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Me personally, I'm taking him. I ain't even thinking twice about it. I don't even think you can stay on the floor. To be honest with you, I'm worried you might fuck around and be Roddy Zachary all over again.
I'm taking Roddy over both of them.
I take Zaire over those two because I watched. I ain't gonna lie, that shit was just a disaster. They essentially Jake and Roddy the same thing, but it's neither here nor there. There's summer league roster. It's gonna be some guys who's gonna have to step the fuck up. Zaire, you was able to fake me in sick, so you didn't get to go to class this year, nigga. You ain't got to go to summer school, so you got lucky. But guess what? Your ass better be A1 ready come the first start of the season. Cause I'm gonna be loud on your ass, buddy. Because guess what? Grown man do grown man shit. And you decide to take a grown man paycheck. So you're gonna be held to grown man standards. I ain't got time for no baby mouth ass nigga. That's just the end of it, bro. And I'm gonna leave it at that as far as this summer league roster.
As the great Patrick Houston would say, men do what they want, boys do what they can.
What you see?
That's Project Pat for those that don't know his government name.
And for Ed Memphis saying, I ain't got time for no baby mouth ass nigga. That's so. Now, on to the next one, last one, man. We're going to hit real quick with others before we get on up out of here. Fashion of the day. You know what I'm saying? Shit. We might as well. Why not? Shit, you know, the boy, you know what I'm saying? The Versace done. You know, it gets done greater. The freshest nigga walking this city. It ain't none with it. You know what I'm saying? You show me another nigga in this city that's fresh as Ed Memphis. I'll show you $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know, kept it down, you know what I'm saying? Got my Garland Rock, you know, Versace slash, you know, we Versace from head to toe when we do it, you know what I'm saying? I got so much of this shit, I'm sick of Versace, man. But I love it, I can't help it. So I had to rock the Garland Barocks to match the Versace Couture, you know what I'm saying, poppy collar. And of course, we always keep the frames, the signature Ed Memphis Versace shade. These are not the biggies. If you know Versace's, the biggies have a oval shape. These is the Ed Memphis Versace. You did. So no, get your shit together. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And there's that on that.
Yeah. I got on the throwback, the members only hat. Yeah. Got on a shirt from a store on Main Street in Memphis, black-owned store called Odds Atelier. Check it out. Young Cat own it.
They have they just did a run in the commercial appeal. Was just talking about this.
Odds Atelier. So I've been going there for a couple years now, shopping with them. And then for the shoe game, I got on the OG Nike OG Challengers, black and yellow joints, yellow and mustard yellow. Yes, so, you know, that's how I'm matching with it, man. I always match from head to toe. Oh, and I love the tongue on shoes like this, like the kind of straw mesh.
Yeah, me too.
So soft.
I love that too. So
soft.
And I like the look. It looks like that. You know, I like that look.
Give me that, like I was with Phil Knight when he was putting the waffle iron on the bottom of the Nikes, you know. Y'all go to Odds Outlet, man. They got some different type shirts. You see my shirt say "Duck You," because that's my personality. I'm quirky like that. Ain't that how you say this shit?
I'm glad he went because now I seen some. I gotta go check them out, and that's why I like the way we did this, man. Both of us, we got partners that both, you know, it means so to us to want to bring this aspect of the game to y'all. Because these other podcasts, shout out to y'all, but y'all ain't kicking that flavor, how we be splashing that flavor into this motherfucking lens. Ooh, wait. So, you know what I'm saying? I want to definitely hold us because we doing this shit like none other, baby. And shout out to y'all, man. I see a couple of them other podcasts starting to put on polos and shit, man. The motherfuckers was wearing t-shirts all day and night. But you know what I'm saying? We see the switch up now. We see it, man. We seeing y'all trying to get a little fresher. Kick that shit there. Y'all seeing me and Dez. Y'all seeing the phone posit. Y'all seeing the Versace. Y'all seeing the drip. You know what I mean? And we want to keep bringing it to y'all, man, because it just makes for better content across the board from me to you. So that's been it, y'all. We're going to get out y'all way. Hey, man, man. This is Ed and Dez.
This is Dez and Ed.
Right, this is a podcast from around the way. Don't play damn day. Get you straight. Shout out to the homie GB. Gangsta Black, OG Courtney, whatever you want to call her, man. That's dead on it, man. Memphis 10, salute. Oh yeah, we got a baby on the way, man. Me and my wife, man. Definitely this week. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to shoot this weekend. Well, I'm pretty sure I will, because knowing me, I don't allow nothing to affect my business. But we definitely got a little one on the way, man. So I'm definitely excited for that little Empress. So she might even make a camera appearance. Who knows, man? I'm pretty sure she will soon. I'm gonna bring her up here and let her bless y'all with that pretty face of hers that she get from her dad and her mama. But this been all y'all, man. Till next time, man. Stay up, stay safe, man. Remember, man, health is wealth, man. You did, and that's gonna be it.